All right, everybody, we have made it to the final regular season game of the XFL season. Thank you for tuning in. It's Vegas against Seattle. A big one here, not for Vegas, but for Seattle, because if Seattle wins this game and has some things go their way, they are in the playoffs. We have one playoff spot left to determine, and it is either going to be the Seattle Sea Dragons or the St. Louis Battlehawks. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Jerry Garnine. This is our weekly XFL stream. We are live streaming this game. Now, I can already hear you saying, I have no idea how these playoff scenarios work. I can already hear you saying, what do we need to have happen? Because it's not as simple as winning in. Certain things have to happen. Well, fortunately for you guys, when I got back, ran back from the D-backs game, if you see me sweating, that's why. Let's break everything down, because this will be on the screen the entire game, so you will not have any confusion whatsoever. Boom, 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 boom. There it is, folks. That is the real-time update of everything. Points scored, points allowed. Point differential means nothing. Point differential is the next tiebreaker after the rankings. And keep in mind that point differential means nothing because both teams right now are tied with the same point differential. So if Seattle wins this game, by default, they will take the lead in that. And Seattle needs to win. If they lose, St. Louis is in, and none of this means anything. But if you need an update on what the rankings are, you are ranked in the league based on how many points you score and how many points you allow. The lower the number, the better it is for you. Right now, Seattle's combined score is 7. They've scored 215 points, or St. Louis has scored 249 points. That's the second most in the XFL. They have allowed 202. That is the 5th most in the XFL. 2 plus 5 gets you 7. As for Seattle, points scored 215, that is 4th. 168 points allowed, that is 1st. So their ranking right now is 5. Now that can change in real time. But the season ended right now. Obviously St. Louis is in because this game has not happened yet. So Seattle hasn't won anything yet. But we're going to update everything in real time so you get an idea of what exactly has to happen. Again, the higher your number, the worse it is. You want the lowest score possible in the rankings. It does make the averages beautiful, I admit. So again, right now, Seattle has a combined ranking of 5. This is very similar to the tiebreaker used in 1975 during the Vikings-Rams playoff fiasco, which I did a video on about 2 years ago. Right now, their ranking is 5. They're 4th in points scored. They're 1st in points allowed. Seattle's ranking is 7. 249 and 202 gets you a ranking of 7. So obviously, if Seattle allows points, they'll drop. Their number will get worse. They allow points, but if they get points, they will also improve. So keep that in mind. Right now, Seattle has a 14-point lead over Houston and a 15-point lead over San Antonio. So if they allow 16 points, they're dropping. Houston takes the 1, San Antonio takes the 2. You get the idea. It's going to be confusing, but we have everything on the screen. We're going to update everything in real time. And again, right now, if the season ended, obviously because nothing's happened yet in this game, St. Louis would be in. But obviously, we have this game to play. Yeah, Yoshida looked phenomenal today. 2 home runs. It makes the Tatis thing that, because this is the anniversary of Tatis hitting 2 grand slams in the same inning off 1 pitcher, makes what he did all the more remarkable when you look at what Yoshida did. 2 home runs, 1 grand slam, and we're never going to see anything like that again. Off the same pitcher, that's a record that I can assure you will never be broken. Because no manager will be dumb enough to have their pitcher stay in the same inning for 3 grand slams. So pray for a 2-0 Seattle wins over St. Louis. That seems to be the idea. First place in points scored, for those wondering, I have it. Points scored, the leader right now in the clubhouse. There's a reason I didn't put it on there. It's DC at 298. So I'm assuming the best that Seattle can get in points scored is 2nd, dropping St. Louis to 3rd, just because they're not scoring 73 points. They're not topping DC like that. So the higher scoring game, the better it is for St. Louis. To some extent. Because obviously, the more points that Seattle allows, the better it is for St. Louis. But obviously, you don't want, if you're Seattle, you don't want to, if you're St. Louis, you don't want to overtake, you don't want Seattle to overtake you on points scored. And again, if the rankings are tied, Seattle would own the tiebreaker because by default, they would have a better point differential if both teams are 7-3. By default, they would have a better point differential because remember, right now they're tied on point differential. Seattle wins by default, even if it's by 1 point, which is the minimum score you can win by, they will get the lead on point differential. It's why Anthony Beck's decision was absolutely terrible to not go for 3 the other day. And that's just throwing a 34-33 needed. That seems about right. Seems about right. Because 34, they get Seattle tied with St. Louis at 249, gets the ranking tied to 2. 33 would get them 201, and they'd still be ahead of St. Louis, so that would be fine. Yeah. 34-33, Seattle gets in. 34-33, Seattle gets in. But we will know way more. You'll see the updated standings and the rankings as everything happens. So the North Division playoff scenarios, they're on the screen right now for the on your TV right now on ESPN2. Again, this game is on ESPN2. But that is what the ranking comes down to. I'll be on and off throughout the stream. Hope this is a good game. Thank you so much, Weather Chart. Glad to see you tuning in. We're going to have all the standings and rankings updated as the game goes on, so you will not be confused whatsoever. Again, ignore the whole 34, 33. If that's confusing in the slightest bit, just keep an eye on the rankings and the points scored and the points allowed, because we were updating those in real time to see what the rankings are. I told you we had something special planned for this stream so that you will not be confused one bit as to what needs to happen today. Because when it comes down to the ranking, the overall ranking, and right now Seattle is at 5, St. Louis is at 7. Again, obviously this is all a moot point if Vegas pulls off the upset, but Vegas 2-7, they've been struggling lately. Seattle, Ben DiNucci, MVP candidate. I don't think he's going to win it, but he is a candidate to say the least. This game probably decides the MVP, though. If St. Louis makes the playoffs, I don't know how you don't give it to McCarron. When they need it most, he threw 6 touchdown passes. So I think McCarron's got MVP if they make the playoffs. If it doesn't, if you're a Defenders fan, I'd be absolutely rooting for if you care about individual accolades, I'm absolutely rooting if I'm DC. I am rooting for Seattle to make the playoffs, so Jordan Tamu wins MVP. Yeah, Vegas needs to score 34 for the tiebreaker. Yeah, everything's going to be updated in real time on this leaderboard. We will see the points scored, the points allowed, and their ranking. As long-term fans of JG9, we're all giant nerds and want to know all the minutiae. Yep. You should see what I did when I was calling games for my college, and it was the end of the regular season. I developed these gigantic, I went into the study rooms in my dorm. I just messed around for a solid 90 minutes before each game, and just created all these scenarios, so I would know in real time. Because the conference wouldn't say anything, because the conference their media department was completely inept. So I took it upon myself. Try to see if I can find one of these photos. They do. And yes, rest in peace, Chris Smith. Sea Dragon passed away at the age of 31, former Jaguar as well. Just terrible, terrible stuff. Still no idea what he died from, but just way, way too young. Way too young. Right, let's see if I can find the flow charts that I did. I gotta have them on my phone somewhere. I did them especially for basketball and for volleyball and that, and you can see them carrying out the jersey for Chris Smith. Just a phenomenal, fitting tribute. Way, way too young. Way too young. Absolutely terrible. Sinks is I was there at Radio City when he got drafted, and just to think that it's only been 8 years, 9 years, and wow, it's just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. So try to see if I can find this. The main problem is find out what their moms and dads do for a living. Don't worry about the stats. Where on earth? Unless I got it erased from my phone. Where on earth was it? The game hasn't started yet, so I can't find it. It's so good. I used to just mess around in the... I guess it's not on my phone anymore. I'm sure I'll find it somewhere. Chris Smith, the former or the defensive end on the Sea Dragons. As that kickoff, we are underway. Vegas is going to start with the ball at the 38-yard line. Bell Station, where are you at? If Seattle loses, we're in. Again, Jalen McClendon is going to start this game. For those wondering, the 3 red boxes indicate 3 timeouts. The blue box indicates challenge. You get 1 challenge per game. You get to use it on anything you want. And we are updating everything in real time. Updating everything in real time for the rankings to determine the spot in the playoffs. As things stand, as a fumble by Vegas, McClendon, the starting quarterback, could not handle the snap. Picks it up, gains a yard on the play, so 2nd and 9. Hold Vegas under 26 and win playoffs. You can pretty much see everything. Much better tribute to him than Saturday for Sean Taylor. You mean you didn't like the Sean Taylor mannequin that looked nothing like him and had a jersey that he never wore? You didn't like that one? That was such a great tribute. And then we're going to retire the number and do everything by like a dumpster. That was a phenomenal tribute. That's how I want to go out. That's how I want people to remember me. I know I love hosting these. 3rd and 1 after the run there by Lovett. Again, this is the last game for Vegas, regardless of what happens. They're 2-7. This season's been such a disappointment. And McClendon hasn't thrown a pick this year, unlike Luis Perez. Perez was really, really struggling through a lot of picks, threw some pick sixes against Arlington in the opener. Kind of set the tone for the season. 3rd and 1, empty backfield. They motion Cam Sutton to the H-back spot, and now McClendon's going to take it himself. Needed a yard. He got way more than that. So he picks up 3, maybe 4. Mark at the 46-yard line. Good for a 1st down for Vegas. What do you think of the 1st down chips in the football in the USFL? I really like it. I just think the presentation of it is kind of stupid. Makes it look like an arcade game, and not in a good way, but I do like the chips in the ball. 89 death tribute. We spike the ball into the ground for 39.6 seconds straight. Yeah, Vegas is going to become a very saturated market. Handoff. Nice tackle down low. Nice low tackle there. Tackle coming from number 16 on the play. And I don't have a 16 on my depth chart, so my apologies for that. Handoff went to Brian Burke. And we're updating everything in real time. 2nd and 10. You got Lovett now in the backfield. McClendon. Someone jumped on Seattle. Unless he just timed that perfectly. That might have just been timed perfectly. I thought for sure he crossed the line of scrimmage. No, that's just a perfect jump. That's a perfect jump. By Bryce Thompson. Bryce Thompson with the jump there. Timed that snap perfectly. I thought for sure they were going to call that offside. All right, 3rd down. Got a running back in the backfield. He got 3 wide. Brandon Dillon at tight end. McClendon. Drops back. Feels pressure. Fires. Incomplete. Intended target on the play was Geronimo Allison, the former Packer, running an out route. About 15 yards past the line of scrimmage. Nice pressure there. Yeah, the step chart is all wrong. The numbers are all wrong. First time on this channel, you're pulling for the team. No, I just want a good game. I want a good stream. I want a good game. I don't have any preference. I don't have a favorite team. Why does it take decades for Vegas to even have major sports teams? Gambling. 100% gambling. And then they realized, wait a sec, you can gamble anywhere now. So there's no point. He's going to field this punt at the 3-yard line. What is he doing? What is he doing? As that is returned to the 12-yard line. It's Kelvin McKnight. What is he doing? Why would you field that? Touchbacks go to the 35. Why are you fielding that at the 3? By the way, Seattle ball at the 12-yard line. Ben DiNucci, the leader in the XFL right now in passing yards. No one else in the same stratosphere. It's good to see you, Roblox. Good to see you back. Empty backfield to start. And again, everything is updating in real time. Yeah, Seattle's got a ton of weapons. I mean, Ja'Cory Pearson is already going to lead the league in receiving and receptions. Blake Jackson's great. And the best 1-2 punch at wide receiver in the league. Quick pass gets the first down. It is Josh Gordon. You forget about him. You forget about Josh Gordon with Blake Jackson, 5th in the league in receptions, Ja'Cory Pearson leading the league. You forget that Josh Gordon exists sometimes. That's how good the Sea Dragons team is on offense. Again, remember, the last time Seattle and Vegas played, in Vegas, Seattle was facing 4th down. They were 0-2. They were losing the game with about 40 seconds left. Josh Gordon scored the touchdown on 4th down on the fly route. And that turned the season around. Seattle's won 6 out of 7 since then. They get themselves in this position. But last time it was a great game, so this is not formality. But once again, Josh Gordon slant route. Josh Gordon slant route. Yeah, Bud Selig did not want a baseball team in Vegas. He still doesn't want one. They need to draft the one Boykin. So much respect for doing this score live, speaking from my time needing to do it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, Josh Gordon, yeah, really good NFL player. I mean, he led the league in receptions or receiving yards in 2013. And his game against Jacksonville was the second best game I've ever seen by any receiver against the Jags. Second best. Number 1 was Andre Johnson. Andre Johnson 2012. But Josh Gordon just went off. 3 straight passes to Josh Gordon. You can see where they're feeding the ball. I guess the idea is get Josh Gordon involved early on and open up space for Pearson and Jackson to do their thing eventually. I don't know if Seattle runs the run and shoot offense. It's better than the offense that either Pittsburgh or New Jersey ran today in the USFL, which was no offense. That was quite the game to show on NBC. It's quite the game. 2nd and 5 after the 5-yard catch. Every yard on this drive, which started at the 12-yard line, has come courtesy of Josh Gordon. Now they're going to run it. First run of the day, Philip Lindsay, the former Bronco, down to the 48-yard line of Vegas. It's a first down. And now they're showing the Week 3 highlights. Again, 4th down. This was a 4th down play. I remember we were streaming that from a motel room in Miami. I remember that one. We were live streaming that from a motel room in Miami on my phone's hotspot Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi there was complete trash. This Wi-Fi is actually really good, so no issues here. 1st and 10 after the run by Lindsay. Empty backfield for DiNucci. We'll see if he goes to Gordon again. Pump fakes. Could be a screen pass to the tight end. Tight end at the 40. Can he get the first down? Second effort. Gets the first down. Gets a gain of 12 on the play down to the 36-yard line. Again, I apologize. The depth chart I have is all wrong. All the numbers are off. But it's Charlie Tamopo, I believe. Oh no, my memory is scary good. Maulers are the worst offensive receiver. Yeah. Who knew they could somehow find a worse coach than Terry Kirby? Hammond's on the run. Up the middle, gain of 3. Oh no, second effort. Thought for sure he was down. But stayed on his feet. We'll see where they mark this. The USFL might be in trouble. The ratings have not been great, especially for over the year. So nice second effort there. It's a gain of 8. When they make the movie about your encyclopedic knowledge of sports, who plays you in the movie? I don't know who plays me. Hopefully it's someone like Ryan Gosling. Hopefully it's someone like that. Hammonds gets the first down and then some down to the 25-yard line, maybe the 24. Doesn't go down easy, but eventually Jamar Summers is going to get credit for the tackle. You know, I'm pulling for both. We're going to do USFL streams. I am pulling for both leagues. I think the USFL has done some great things. I think they've done some stupid things. Same thing with the XFL. They've done some really stupid things. They've done some great things as well. I want both to succeed. More football is good. The fact that we have 2 spring leagues is really, really good. You try swing pass to Hammonds. Hammonds at the 20. Hammonds at the 16-yard line. Gain of 8 on the play. TJ Hammonds So they start off with Josh Gordon. And now they're going with TJ Hammonds. But you hate to see that. Ja'Cour Pearson is going into the tunnel. He is walking on his own power, but he is going into the tunnel. Hate to see it again. Leads the league with 57 receptions and 628 yards. As we have a $2 from Mike Magnuson. Thank you so much. Let me get your name on there. Thank you so much for that. Handoff goes to Hammonds. Hammonds, stop behind the line of scrimmage. Stop behind the line of scrimmage. It is Maurice Smith on the tackle. Loss of 5 on the play. 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6. Let me get your name on there again. My apologies for... Who do you think the Jags are going to draft? Apparently, according to our inside source, Dilla, who's usually right on top of things. He's right on top of things. He is a... yeah, Jonah Hill would be a good pick. He's right on top of things. He called Tyson Campbell at 33 a few years ago to the point where the lines got taken off. But DiNucci drops back. He feels pressure. He's going to scramble. He's going to try to get out of the pressure. Gets outside the pocket, throws it away. Incomplete pass. Nice pressure on the play. As he gets outside the pocket and throws it away. But apparently the 3 guys we're looking at in the first round are Nolan Smith, Osiris Torrance, and Brian Branch. I really want Brian Branch. I really want Branch. He fills that slot corner need perfectly. He is a phenomenal player. I think it's going to be Brian Branch at 24. I really do. Yeah, I don't want James Gordon doing it. 4th and 6. Kick is up. It is no good. It drifts to the left. It drifts to the left. Dominic Eberle misses the field goal. So with 4:57 left, we are still all tied up. Vegas gets the ball with 4:57 left. That one never looked good from the start. It was always drifting. And bigger than the cries in Vegas after the cheers in Vegas after that kick was missed are the cheers in St. Louis. And as things stand, again, the score is tied. So obviously, as things stand, St. Louis is in, but it won't stay tied. And nobody can make kicks at Lumen Field. I wish I could get on. I might hop on. I wish I could, but I got a lot of work to do because I'm leaving for Kansas City on Wednesday. I'm leaving for KC on Wednesday, so I got a lot of work to do in the meantime. Among stupid things USFL's done, doing the hub games again. How's it ranking year 2? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Zach with the $2. Thank you so much for that. The XFL PKs make you appreciate the NFL PKs. It's weird because the kicking in the XFL is actually pretty good. The kicking in the XFL has actually been all right. I don't know what's happened this week. This week has been bizarre. I have to adjust the camera because I had that green bar. It is weird. The XFL kickers were pretty good. Like John Parker Romo missed 1 field goal all season and then missed that one yesterday for San Antonio. That would have won the game against DC, which was terrible. Yeah, the hubs, I don't get the hub model. I got it for year 1. Save money. What is the purpose of it in year 2? Because you're just traveling the same amount. You're just playing in 4 places instead of 1. You're traveling the same amount. They would be, for the most part, maybe like a few games less. I don't get the purpose of the hub model there. I really don't. And like the stadium today, Pittsburgh, New Jersey, looked terrible. It looked terrible today. Just call a team the Cannon something. You already moved one team for some reason. You already moved one team. You moved Tampa Bay for some reason, even though they never played a game in Tampa. They weren't going to play a game in Tampa. You moved them. You still have a team in Houston, even though they're not going to survive. We all know that because 2 spring teams can't survive in Houston. The market's already saturated enough as it is. St. Louis and KC are both still rooting for the 2-0 victory upon your advice. And 2-0 would work. 2-0 would work. Have fun in KC. I recommend Jack Stack's Barbecue. Ooh. The FA Cup game between Manu and Brian was far better than the USFL game. The Spurs game, where they were down 5-0 after 21 minutes. That was better. Look, the USFL game today was terrible. Absolutely terrible. The one last night too was rough. Todd Haley is not it's not good. I was rooting for Brian in that game. I was rooting for them. And you're seeing these scenarios on your screen with the North Division. You're seeing them on ESPN2. Again, don't focus necessarily on that. Focus on the green bar on my screen that has the points scored, points allowed updated in real time. We have a 199 for better Nathan than Lever. Thank you so much for that. Let me get your name on there. Lived in KC for 35 years. Get Gates or Joe's Barbecue. Oh, we got quite a few barbecue recommendations. Staying there for 4 days. I'm staying there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm leaving Sunday, and we are going to be as almost a pick six. That is almost a pick six by Bryce Thompson. Oh man, he's gonna have nightmares over that one. He is gonna have nightmares over that one. How do you drop that? Oh, Bryce Thompson faked that he was going to rush, drops back in coverage, completely fooled Jalen McClendon. Completely fooled him. As we have a 20 from John Ritchie. Thank you so much for that. Let me get your name on there. Yeah, we got a lot of barbecue recommendations. I'm there for 4 nights, so I'm down. Question, who do you think goes in the top 5 of the draft and to who? All right, let's see. I saw the highlights of Newcastle. All right, so number 1, I think it's going to be Bryce Young at this point. I think Bryce Young goes 1. I think C.J. Stroud goes 2. After that, it gets very, very weird. After that, it gets weird. So Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, I think they go 1-2. So the Cardinals, I think Will Anderson Jr. The Colts, I think, take Will Richardson, or Anthony Richardson. I combine Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. 3rd and 6. Clinton drops back. He's got a man. What a hit! What a hit! Delivering the boom on that one. Incomplete pass. 3 and out. Credit Wright with the hit there. Michael Wright gets the hit, and it's a 3 and out. So a good defensive stand for the Sea Dragons. Upset not to get the pick 6. The 5th pick. Yeah, 5th is going to be up in the air. See Tyree Wilson. I could see Tyree. I think you'll see 3 quarterbacks go in the top 4, and then Anderson's going to be the first non-QB off the board. Punt is fielded by McKnight at the 25, but a good open field tackle. Only gets to the 28-yard line. Tackle there by Matthew Sexton. You can see the watch party in St. Louis. Love to see it. Love to see it. So nice punt there. First attempt at the 28-yard line. Why does Red Steely hate gambling? Because gambling pretty much destroyed baseball. He realizes the power of the commissioner, and once you lose the integrity of the game, once there's any doubt that the game is being compromised in some way, he said the Black Sox scandal almost killed baseball. And it did. It did. It almost killed baseball. He said that there were people who, till the day they died, remember watching that World Series and being distraught over it. Like, he watched the Kevin Burns documentary with us, and he said that in the, like, you can see this documentary was filmed in like, the late 80s, early 90s. And there were White Sox fans that were kids at the time, and they were being interviewed in their 70s and 80s and whatnot, and they still had vivid memories over that. So that is why. That is why. Move the Gamblers to Tulsa to become the Oklahoma Outlaws. The original Outlaws played in Tulsa. I would have no problem with that. That's an unsaturated market. That'd be a good place to go if you have a stadium. Somehow the Pittsburgh Maulers offense makes Matt Canada's Steelers offense a little bit better. He's good for at least one offensive touchdown game. Yeah, the Maulers offense, Todd Haley down there in the Saturday night game, 42-2 drubbing. Ooh, that was rough. Yeah, no preseason for the USFL has been called for sloppy football league-wide except Birmingham. Yeah, I mean, I think they did one preseason game. I think they did one, but I could be dead wrong on that. Remember the Steelers watching the Browns-Ravens game behind school? I remember that. That was a fun game. Browns-Ravens was a fun game. Really think the Browns are going to do finish with a winning record after their 0-16 season. By the way, I was going through Facebook last night and saw John Boy Media and the score user Alexander WUI. Yeah, they tagged me on Twitter also. FanDuel used it, DraftKings used it, Sports Illustrated used it. It got a lot of publicity. I'm surprised Barstool didn't use it. That seems right up Barstool's alley, but I did not. But that was a fun photo to take. I saw that on the screen. I had to double take. I was like, wait, what? I got a photo of it. I got it right at the last thing because I took like 2 photos at once, and the second photo was a birthday message. But everything else so far has been just good luck. happy birthday, happy anniversary, welcome to the game, stuff like that. And then you have the Hail Mary being thrown up by whoever Alexandria W's ex-boyfriend was, because there's no way that worked. We have a $4.99 from Better Nathan than Lever. Thank you so much. I love that name. Just a tongue twister for sure. I have to change this. Thank you for the $4.99. With the Black Sox team, a kill based on one spiking the ball into the ground on every single snap. Would it have? I'm trying to think if it would have. At least, I guess, with the Black Sox, there's the illusion that, okay, they might win this. They spike the ball into the ground every single time. It's almost like the Simpsons soccer one where they just kick the ball around in a triangle and it doesn't go anywhere. It's like, okay, well, this is boring. This is going to be terrible. Have you trademark I'm sorry, what, or is that too close to fair use? That's a pretty common saying. I mean, I use it on my videos, but I've seen other people use it. I'm not going to trademark it. I'm not going to get myself into... I'm not even going to try to trademark that. Last thing I need is a Fine Bros React scandal in my hand for a common phrase, common word. Last thing I need is that. Quick pass, incomplete. Intended target on the play. Looked like it was Josh Gordon, but the throw is behind him. Again, Ja'Cory Pearson will see what his injury status is. He went into the tunnel on the first drive. Holds it. Speaking of video, Marcy, do you remember when the D-back social media team tracked that couple down a couple of years ago? Yes, I do remember that. I think that was fake. I think it was fake. I think it was a publicity stunt. It was a really well done one. I was invested in that whole thing. They rushed forward. Danucci, out route. Bit slow to get there, but it is caught down the 31-yard line. A 5 on the play. Catch there made courtesy of Damian Willis. And we have an injured player on the field. It is Damian Willis down the 31-yard line. Why is the XFL so good on the USFL? Well, keep in mind also the quality improves as the season goes on. Keep that in mind. I think also crowds help. Crowds help tremendously. Plus, there's a lot of guys in the XFL that will make it to the NFL. They'll get some love in the NFL. I'm not sure about the USFL because a lot of the rejects from the XFL are going to the USFL. But Damian Willis is down right now. Yeah, Freiburg's definitely fell off after that. They never recovered that goodwill. They never recovered that. Who is in contention for the final playoff spot? So it's Seattle and St. Louis. So the thing to keep track of, if you want to keep track in real time, is points scored and points allowed, where they rank among the leaders in the league. The lower the number, the better your score is. So St. Louis' ranking right now is 7, Seattle's is 5. So as things stand, Seattle has the better ranking. Now, obviously, this only applies if Seattle wins this game. If Vegas wins, it means absolutely nothing. Yeah, Damian Willis has been down for a bit, but Ja'Cory Pearson is back, which is good to see again. He walked into the tunnel on the first drive. He is back to see. I wonder if the Rockies owner still thinks the team will go 500. They might go 500 over a series. Not sure about the answer to that. Then again, not quite sure. D-backs are playing all that well, but they do play the Rockies in a bit, so we'll see how that goes. Why are all the USFL and XFL teams league-owned? Because you don't want an owner who will spend too much money and bankrupt the league. The last thing you want is a guy that is like a Memphis guy from the WFL or like a Trump from the USFL. The last thing you want is a guy like that when the league is still trying to find its financial footing. And then the other teams have to spend money to compete and then spend money that they don't have. You don't want stuff like that. You think the Colts trade for Trey Lance before Thursday if Young and Stroud are both out the war, they miss out? No, I think they're going to go for Richardson. Richardson or Levis. If they trade for Lance, I'll left really hard. But then again, if they draft Richardson or Levis, I'll also left pretty hard. XFL, I think they pay their players more. I think they pay them more. 3rd and 6, ball to 31, empty backfield, 5 wide. Danucci as they drop 4. Steps up, throws up his back foot, underthrown, and tries to make the adjustment. Is Jordan Veazey, and that is incomplete. He threw that one off his back foot. Never had a chance. Good try by Veazey to make the adjustment, but could have led him a lot better there. Who's a day 3 pick that I'm really high on? For me, it's Deuce Vaughn. I don't know. I don't know just yet. I don't know. Because there were some guys like Cole Strange I thought was a day 3 pick, and he turned out to go round 1. I still got to do some homework on some of those guys. I've got time. Who's number 1 points scored? Number 1, I don't have it because it's DC and they're at 298. So it is impossible for Seattle to catch them. They'll not impact the ranking one bit. Fair catch is made. Vegas gets the ball. Why is man saving an MLS team? Money. Their ownership group spent a ton of money against second team in New York. Yeah, so don't even worry about number 1 in points score because it will not be possible for Seattle to catch them. Number 1 is DC at 298. So Seattle would need 73 points to do it. You forget 11 tonight? I wish I was. I got a ton of work to do before I go to Kansas City. Got a ton of work to do. I wish I was, but thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. First 10 to Vegas 30. We got John Lovett in the backfield. In low scoring game, this is good right now for St. Louis. Handoff goes to Lovett. Lovett down to 35-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play. This will kill the USFL. It killed the NASL. That's why MLS was single entity. That's why they were single entity for a while. So it's the last single one. Most broken control moment in NFL history, Chiefs-Eagles 1972. Chiefs-Eagles 72, the Alex Hawkins bicycle kick touchdown. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I will send a link at the commercial break. We're going to induct into the Hall of Fame next year. So the handoff goes up the middle to Lovett. Once again, gain of 2. We got time for one more play this quarter. All right, who gets inducted to the Hall of Fame? Let's see. Who's eligible? Okay. Julius Peppers is eligible. He'll be first ballot. Right, Chivas fold, poor attendance, no money. It was a bad situation. No stadium. McClendon tries to get out of the sack, and eventually he goes down. Another 3 and out. Daniel Joseph, back-to-back 3 and outs for the Sea Dragons, and they'll be punting. Let me do a video on the Chiefs-Bengals blackout game in 2012. Why do I not have any recollection of that? I don't have any recollection of that. What was the blackout game? I don't have any recollection of that. All right, so the Chiefs-Eagles play from 1972. I'll link it in the chat. It was a. Let's see. You want the play? It is at. This is the most broken controller moment of all time. If this happened in Madden, I would quit. Okay, Hall of Fame. So Julius Peppers is first ballot, I think. Antonio Gates, is he going to be first ballot? I don't think Eric Berry will be first ballot. Julius Peppers will absolutely be first ballot. Antonio Gates, let's see. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be tough. Okay. All right, Jared Allen, I think, gets in. Dwight Freeney gets in. Julius Peppers. Let's go Gates and Reggie Wayne. Either Wayne or Holt, but I think it'll be Wayne. So that's my guess. If I had to guess, I go Jared Allen, Dwight Freeney, Julius Peppers, Antonio Gates, and Reggie Wayne. That's my guess, as things stand. Is J.J. Watt a first ballot Hall of Famer? He is not a Hall of Famer. He's absolutely a first ballot Hall of Famer. That discussion will take 5 seconds. That will take 5 seconds. Oh, the blackout game was a game where the Chiefs fans were black. I was going to say, because I didn't know, I thought blackouts were gone in 2012, so I was confused. I thought blackout is in like TV blackout. I was like, wait, what? Oh, blackout game, they wore black. Oh. Yeah, I'll say that 2012 season was bizarre for the Chiefs. Yeah, J.J. Watt, that will be a 5-second discussion. The guy will say, Up next for discussion, J.J. Watt. He will say he should be in, and that'll be that. There is no universe in which J.J. Watt is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Unless he pulls a Jim Tyler, there is no universe in which J.J. Watt is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? Yes. Yes. 2 Super Bowl wins. Every quarterback in pro football history to win the Super Bowl twice as a starter is in the Hall of Fame, except for Jim Plunkett. And Eli Manning has more accolades than him. He's got 2 MVPs. He looked like a top 5 quarterback in his peak. Plunkett never looked like that. Manning's in. Manning's absolutely in. Plunkett never had any Pro Bowls. Manning's got a few. I don't want to sound better, but can we get a 97-98 KC Denver divisional game Vaseline rule video? I thought about doing that game. Especially because the quarterback decision made was questionable. Or the 2028 class could be loaded. Yeah, 2012 was a rough season for the Chiefs, especially with the whole Belcher thing. So rough year. Most disconnected controller. AJ Green in the Packers-Cardinals game. That was disconnected controller. The Packers-Cardinals Thursday night game from 2 years ago. That's probably the winner. AJ Green just stopped. How did Ben Stowe feel about the movement to allow Shoeless Joe? He thinks all gamblers should not be allowed in. Now then again, I think Shoeless Joe should be allowed in because he kind of got taken advantage of. I don't think he did anything out of knowledge. He got taken advantage of. And he played well that series too. McKnight tries to do something there. He gets taken down to 21-yard line. Rough game for McKnight returning-wise. Fields a punt to 3, and then the other 2 returns 5 yards total. Is the 2004 NFL draft the best for a quarterback? Not even close. Not even close. 83 says hi. 83 says hi. Maurice Jones-Drew, look, I love the guy. I really want him in the Hall of Fame. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer. And definitely not first ballot. 199 better Nathan Lever. Thank you so much. OMG, thank you for mentioning the Gannon Gerback blunder FML. Oh yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. I'll get around to that. Probably next divisional round. 2004 second? Yeah, I mean, look, if you want to say that was second, I'm not gonna debate you too much over that as DiNucci throws it away. But 1983 is number 1. 1983 is number 1. You got 3 Hall of Famers in the first round there. Is Philip Rivers a Hall of Famer? No, absolutely not. 2020 is up there. 2020 is absolutely up there. Burrow, Herbert, Tua, Hurts, it's up there. Yeah, 83 is clearly number 1. 83 is clearly number 1. Thing with Rivers, he was never a top 3 quarterback in football. There are only 2 guys in the Super Bowl era to ever make the Hall of Fame that have never made a Super Bowl, as DiNucci is forced to burn the first of his 3 timeouts. Yeah, I think if Jones-Drew stayed healthy in 2012, he didn't fall on the Oakland surface on the dirt, he would have been a Hall of Famer. But there are only 2 quarterbacks to ever be in the Hall of Fame that have never made a Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era. Those 2 are Warren Moon and Dan Fouts. Moon kind of got blacklisted from the NFL for the first decade or so of his career. And Fouts, he led the league in passing yards 4 straight seasons. He changed the game. So it is tough not to say. It's tough to say that Rivers is a Hall of Famer because the bar is Moon and Fouts, and he's not at that bar whatsoever. But 2nd and 10, DiNucci. Hammond's in the backfield, throwing off his back foot. Incomplete pass intended for Josh Gordon. Broken up on a play by Deontay Anderson. It's a few times now DiNucci has thrown off his back foot, not getting his feet set. The worst QB class ever post-merger. It's tough because 2013 was up there and then Geno kind of went beast mode. Yeah, 2013 was up there, but now you got Geno playing well. So I can't say it's the worst because it had a quarterback. I think the worst QB class, I think of a class that had no quarterback. 3rd and 10. Curl route. A spin move even though there was no one there. Interesting spin move there by Blake Jackson. Pick up 6 yards. There was no one there. Appreciate the effort. I think he pressed the wrong button on his controller. So I was going to have to punt this one. I look at the... 2013, I can't say because Gino made it. 2007 is up there. 2007 is up there. You look at the class in 07, Jamarcus Russell, Brady Quinn, Kevin Kolb, John Beck, Drew Stanton, Trent Edwards, Isaiah Stanback, Jeff Rowe, Troy Smith, Jordan Palmer, Tyler Thigpen. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure you can do worse than that. I'm not sure you can do worse than that. Punt is fielded at the 32-yard line, down to the 34. Special teams coverage has been very good today by both teams. Can't say 2000 because Brady. Even, Chad Pennington was a good quarterback. Chad Pennington was a good quarterback. Even if you take Brady out, they had at least one quarterback. For the worst QB class in the post-merger era, you have to have no quarterbacks. 2007, name me one good quarterback in the draft. So you see the Buccaneers drafting a guy like Hooker in the second round and in QB depth. I don't think Hooker's going to be there in the second round, but it would be a waste of a pick because you already have Kyle Trask. You already burned a second round pick on him. At least Brady Quinn is handsome. All right, 12:44, handoff. Up the middle, love it. Gain of 1 on the play. And a 1 on the play. The spin move was like when your season hit the wrong button. Pretty much. Pretty much. I think JP Lawson was the best QB from 04. There's probably some universe out there where he was. Some alternate dimension where he turned out to be the best of the guys. I mean, 07 has to be at least in the discussion for the worst ever. My money's probably on 07. 96. Okay, you got Tony Banks, Bobby Hoying, Jeff Lewis, Danny Cannell, Spence Fisher, Mike Hawley, John Stark, Kyle Wackles. I think Tony Banks probably saves that from being the worst. It's bad. It's bad. It's up there. But I think he saves it from being the worst. Worst QB class ever was, I really think it was 07. Second and 14 at the 31-yard line following the penalty. Empty backfield, 3 wide. McClendon, he's got time. They only rushed 4. Fires deep. He's looking for his target. It is incomplete pass intended for Jeff Badette. That was not even close. 2 straight 3-and-outs for Vegas. Will it be a third? Was worst draft class ever? 92. 92 had no Hall of Famers. 2013 was also pretty bad. 2013 was also pretty bad, but 92 was up there. 2012 class was supposed to be one of the best ever. I mean, to be fair, it was a good class. It was a good class. I mean, you got Luck, you got Tannehill, you got RG3 before he blew his knee, you got Wilson, you got Foles. I mean, you got some guys. You got some guys in there. 3rd and 14, screen pass, and a nice open field tackle there by Thompson. Only gets 3 on the play. 3 straight 3-and-outs for the Vipers. Now Seattle's offense needs to do something. But the defense has come to play. The defense has absolutely come to play. What was the NFL draft like in 1936? It was pretty much done in a closet. So in the closet, and there were guys that you basically, if your draft pick played in the NFL, it was a success because guys were making more money at other jobs than they were playing in the NFL. The number 1 pick, Jay Burwiner, didn't sign. He didn't sign because they offered $25,000 and he was making more at his other job. Punt fielded by McKnight at the 16, takes it down to the 26-yard line. That's where Seattle will take over. No score so far. Again, you see on the screen the rankings. Points scored, points allowed. The lower the number, the better it is. Right now, St. Louis's ranking is 7, Seattle's ranking is 5. That is how the tie is broken if Seattle wins this game. This year comes with the 2001 Raptors. Oh, the Game 7 buzzer beater. That was good. That was good. I catch when it ends up. Question for halftime. Who is the biggest surprise, positive and negative? Positive is the Pirates, negative is the Cardinals. Pirates have the second best record in baseball. No one saw that coming. If you did, you're lying. Cardinals, their pitching has been atrocious. The bats have been fine. Jordan Walker's playing well. Gorman is playing incredibly well. I mean, that combo, just power for days with Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Gorman. But the pitching, I mean, I think Jack Flaherty today had the third quality start of the season. It was that bad. It was that bad. I've watched the Vancouver Grizzlies duck. I've not seen it yet. Why was there no TV coverage of the NFL draft before 1988? Because people thought there wouldn't be interest in it because it's just guys... At its core, it's just names being announced. A guy going up to a podium announcing names. The NFL also wasn't the juggernaut that was back then. Also remember that there was no All Sports Network until ESPN came around in 1979. They just needed programming. That's the only reason they covered the draft. They needed programming. So you needed one of the big three, CBS, ABC, or NBC, to air the draft during a weekday morning instead of a soap opera or at night during actual programming getting news. It was never going to happen. Sports coverage was not what it was back in the 70s and the 60s. If you got 3 continuous hours of sports coverage on a given Sunday, it was a good day. It was a good day for sports. That's why. It was not practical. Even the NFL looked at ESPN with 2 heads. When ESPN said we want to televise the draft, the NFL were like, wait, are you serious? You actually want to televise this? Like, I don't know what there is to televise, but go right ahead. I think Todd Blackledge won his Super Bowl as a backup on the Bears. Blackledge was still the Chiefs by that point. He was still in the Chiefs by that point. Yeah, White Sox are 7-15 right now. Yeah, they're another disappointment. I thought they'd be a lot better than they were because they played well last year when La Russa wasn't there. La Russa, I thought, was holding that team back. They have way more talent on the team than they should be given. Pittsburgh is awakening the Pirates users trade. Pirates got a World Series. Outside of Young, Stroud, Levis, and Richardson, do you see any quarterback going? I think Hooker will go in because you want the 5th round option. There's a reason that a lot of QBs go 1st round now, but not a lot go 2nd round, and that's because if you have a guy that is on the border, you want the 5th year option. You want that other year of control with a QB. So I think he goes 1st round as well. All right, 1st down at the 26-yard line. DiNucci, play action, screen pass, broken up. Veazey, the intended target, broken up on the play by Maurice Smith. It's actually better that got broken up because it would have been a loss of 2. We'll make a video on the TV history of the draft. I feel like NFL Throwbacks did a video on that already. I might do something like that. At some point. It'll be a long documentary. So down the road, I want to get to a point where I can sustain myself by not putting out videos every day so I can do some more long, like super long form stuff, like 40, 50-minute stuff. Once we reach that point, we can do it. DiNucci, curl route. It is caught by Green. Green picks up 6 yards on the play. 3rd and 4. Also, I expect the A's to be bad, but Jesus Christ, they're just kind of down the hill. Vegas. Yeah, I feel terrible for their fans. They're getting major league in front of their eyes. Why isn't Max Duggan a 1st round pick? Because he's just not. The Georgia game tells you every flaw in his game. 3rd and 5. DiNucci feels pressure. Going to try and run outside the pocket. Throwing on the run to the sideline. Incomplete pass intended for Veazey. Veazey frustrated about that. I think he was open before. DiNucci missed him. So quite a few 3-and-outs. In Seattle's offense, really, really good this season. DiNucci leads the league in passing yards, an MVP candidate, but this is not a good showing right now. It's a scoreless game. Any more broadcast-related content? It's coming. Gonna wait till after the draft to do it, but it is coming, for sure. Dylan Brooks is the classiest Oregon alumni. See, I don't like Dylan Brooks. I just feel like the 19. I was fine, honestly, it's a nice tackle there by Hammond. I was fine with the comments he made about LeBron because I thought, okay, he's embracing the heel role. And you know what? We need a good heel. But if you're going to play the heel, you got to own up to it. You can't then say, I'm not going to talk. You can't just say afterwards, I'm not going to talk to the media. Like, no, you created this mess. You got to get yourself out of it. If you're the heel, you got to show up good and bad. I hate that. You like to make some 40-minute stuff and actually use your brain. I feel that. I mean, where I can work on, because a 40-minute video, I can't do that in one day. I can't do that in one day. Take 2 or 3 days to do it. What Texans going to do? They'll take a QB. My guess is they'll take the leftover of either Young or Stroud. Anthony Beck looked like he should have went for 3 in that watch party. Would have helped. It would have absolutely helped. Did you see James Strauss announcement? I did not see that. Did not see that. Will there ever be a 32-round 1,030 pick? Never. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Warriors in 6? I don't think so. I don't think so. Just because the Warriors are still terrible on the road. They are still terrible on the road. I see the Saints drafting a 29-43. Do you see him trading up? Mickey Loomis trading up like he seems to always do. We need DT first for sure. My guess is he'll go defense both picks. My guess is defense both picks. Maybe wide receiver with how deep this class is, supposedly, from some guys. In the second round. I could see receiver 43, and I could see see that for 29. How do they get the compensatory pick to take Brady? I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. It's a good question. I'm not sure. Richardson and Levis are mid-first round picks. I mean, look, I'm not hyped on either one of them. I think Richardson and Levis are not that good. But Richardson will go top 5, I think, at this rate. He's got the physical tools, and some team will feel like they can fix him. If Lamar Jackson's mess isn't resolved, we'll see a repeat of T.O. in 05 when he walked out of training camp and used choppers for hovering him when Cal Six his driveway. I don't think so. Lamar doesn't seem like that kind of guy. Lamar doesn't seem like that kind of guy. What position should the Rams take at 69? Why is the Viper third time elevated? That's a good question. I don't know. But let me fix that. That's just how it worked. I don't know how. Rams, they need some help. They need help everywhere. They need help just about everywhere. I see him going running back. Cam Akers does not look the same since his injury. I could see him going running back. Why isn't the new Bills stadium having a roof? Because it's stupid. You're going to spend all that money in a stadium that can only be used 8 times a year. And you're going to make the taxpayers do it. It is a terrible deal. It's a terrible deal. Every stadium built nowadays should have a roof, so you can host concerts and host year-round events. If you are a publicly funded stadium and you do not put a roof on your venue, you are doing a disservice to your community. And it can be good with proper weapons, or is it the other way around? I think it's the other way around. I think it's, look, I can have, as a run by Love for 9. Look, I could have 5 Hall of Fame offensive linemen blocking for me. I could be throwing to Julio Jones in his prime, Antonio Brown in his prime. I could be throwing to Hopkins. I'm still not going to be good. I'm still not going to be good. Weapons obviously help, don't get me wrong, but then the QB's got to make the throws. 2nd and 2. As there's some movement, the first penalty of the game on the Sea Dragons, there is movement. Someone on the defensive line jumped. Going to the direction of junior year is often better than safer senior. Pretty much. Although we might be seeing that change now with NIL. Like if I'm an offensive lineman at Alabama, I might make more at Bama than I would be as a 5th round pick in the NFL. So there is movement there. Move him up 5 yards. They want to feel old school and blue collar. See, just do a retractable roof and make it. You could do a retractable roof and just say we're not going to close the roof for football games. I just think you're doing a disservice. You're doing a disservice, and it's not fair to the taxpayers because you can't use that venue in the winter. I'll put it this way: if that stadium had a roof, Taylor Swift might come there for her tour. She wouldn't come to Buffalo without a roof. Who's going to pull a Ditka and trade away all their draft pick Draft capital, same way the Saints did in 99. Nice bat down there. I think those days are long gone. I think they are long, long gone. Quinterio Cole on the bat down, so 3rd and 8. 96 Bulls versus 12 Bobcats, but you're the PG, you're the point guard for the 96 Bulls. 96 Bulls. 96 Bulls. Point guard, here's all I'm doing. If I'm the point guard for the 96 Bulls, all I'm doing, every time I get the ball, I run a play where Michael Jordan comes up straight behind me, I just hand it off to him, and then just get out of the way. 3rd and 8. Sack on the play down the 27-yard line. He goes down. Two's our skipper. Also, here's the easy loophole around that. I commit the 6 fouls right away. You get me out of there, and you don't have to deal with me. Told you, I can come up with loopholes very easily with some of these hypotheticals. Never said I can't foul out. So, I'll just foul out. That's all I'll do. And the 96 Bulls win. Why does Taylor Swift come into the Kibbe Dome? Because she feels she's too good for it. 25-yard line is where this is fielded by McKnight, down at the 34-yard line. Jason Sudeikis on Sunday Night Football next season? I mean, I could see him doing like a pre-show skit, but I don't think other than that he's going to be on there. 2-0 finish on the table. Yeah, I did all these crazy scenarios, and in the end, right now, it's a 0-0 game. I thought I'd be updating these in real time, but nothing to update just yet. Nothing to update just yet, as Vegas has gotten 1 first down in the last 4 drives, and it came off a penalty. They've not gotten a first down in the last 4 drives on an actual play. DiNucci, empty backfield, fires, high throw, and is caught by Josh Gordon, his 4th grab of the day. He had 3 catches on the opening drive, nothing since, gain of 9. I think taxpayers should pay for stadiums for private teams. If it's used as a community venue, I don't have a problem with it. If it's used like Buffalo, yes, I have a problem with it. But if it's something that can be used year-round, then I don't have a problem with it. I think really what it should be is hotel tax. I think everything should be paid by hotel tax, by people that aren't from the city. None of those residents should be on the hook. Gordon fumbles the ball! He catches a slant route. He fumbles the ball. Juwan Green recovers the fumble. So back-to-back catches for Gordon, but a dicey one there. Seattle going to have the ball in Vegas territory, but almost disastrous. Slant route, he clearly caught the ball, took some steps afterwards. Clearly a fumble. I don't think the defender forced the fumble. I don't even think it was forced by the defender. 1, 2, 3, then he loses it. Yep, he made a football move. Fumble forced by Keelan Kennedy, but I think Gordon was losing that possession of that ball beforehand. DiNucci feels the pressure, gets rid of it. Quick curl route to Blake Jackson. Jackson down to 38-yard line, enough one to play. I could commit technical fouls. I could do that, but I don't know. I'm not that kind of guy. What are the odds that the Ricky Williams-style trade happens soon? Only way I could see it is if, let's say, you need a situation like next year where Trevor Lawrence, let's say for the Jaguars, just hypothetical, blows out his ACL game 1. The Jags are terrible that year. They get the first pick. They're not taking a QB. And the team is really high on Caleb Williams. That's the only way I could see it. 2nd and 6. Handoff. Up the middle. It's Hammonds. Hammonds down at the 34-yard line. Was Superdome with baseball? I think so. I actually think it was. Because there used to be minor league baseball played at the Superdome. Which Spring League has their uniforms. XFL solely because Memphis's unis in the USFL are yellow with white lettering. Because that makes complete sense. 3rd and 3. Ball at the 34-yard line. Got to get to the 31. Might be 4-down territory. Everly missed a field goal earlier. DiNucci scrambling. He's going to run for the first down himself. He's got it 30 out of bounds at the 27-yard line. DiNucci using his legs just as he's done all season. Gets the first down. 3 minutes left in the first half. Still scoreless. NFL players who start in movies. The Packers start in Pitch Perfect. The Packers, Clay Matthews and whatnot. They were pitch perfect. Tom Brady and 80 for Brady. $85 Bears with Jeff Saturday as coach versus 2017 Browns with Vince Lombardi as coach. Who wins? Give me... At the end of the day, Lombardi's probably just running the Packers sweep play, and against Buddy Ryan, that will not work. So, look, you still got Buddy Ryan as the defensive coordinator, so I'm still taking that. Vipers are challenging this play. Vipers are challenging... I guess they're challenging for a hold or a hands to the face? We'll see. You get one challenge per game. You can challenge anything you want. And I'm not quite sure they're challenging for a hold? They might be challenging for a hold on Charlie. It would be saying that Deontay Anderson was trying to rush the QB and Charlie held him. That's all. That's the only thing I can think of. They pushed for 2. Do you think the Vipers would still be in Vegas if the XFL plays in 2024? Unfortunately, I think so. I think they should move to San Diego, but I think the Rockies are going to keep them in Vegas. I really hope not, but I think the way things are leaning, I think they will stay in Vegas. I'm not sure there's anything. It didn't look like there was much of a. It didn't look like there was any hold there. It just looked like a good block by Charlie, the fullback. So the Vipers used their challenge there. They used their timeout because of it. They lose their timeout. They have no challenges left for the rest of the season, I guess, now. 2:55 left. First and 10 at the 27-yard line. Let Danucci Cook shirt spotted in the crowd. Now they're marking at 26. First and 10. One in the backfield. Handoff goes to the fullback. Goes to Charlie. Charlie gets the second effort. Gets a gain of 8 on the play. 2nd and 2. Yeah, they have a 2-year lease. I don't think they're breaking it. I wish they could get out of it. And go to Allegiant or something like that. Because this is just not working. It's just not working. Right, 2nd and 1. 2:17 left. Handoff up the middle. Hammonds. There's a bit too much dancing on that one. I don't think he got the first. Yeah, Vegas doesn't have state income tax. Yep. That's why I think part of the reason they're going to stay. 3rd and 1, 2-minute warning. Quick update on the stats for this game. Vipers passing has been phenomenal today. Jalen McClendon, 1 out of 7 for 4 yards. Absolutely phenomenal game. Courtesy of McClendon. The Vipers as a team have 28 yards on 19 plays. They're averaging 1.5 yards per play, just 2 first downs all game. It's been that kind of day. Danucci, 95 yards on 1 for 18. Struggling to run the ball, though. Struggling to run the ball. Both teams, really. TJ Hammonds, the leading back, just 10 yards on 5 carries. That is it. Uncharacteristic for the Sea Dragons, because again, they enter this game with 4.5 yards per carry. That's the top total in the XFL. But Hammonds just 10 rushing yards today. Got stopped there, so it'll be 3rd and 10. A hotel tax is what was on the ballot. That would have funded the same for the Chargers in San Diego. Yeah, I don't get why you would reject a hotel tax. I think hotel taxes are perfect because they're still going to come to San Diego anyways. They're still going to come to the city anyways. And the people that are in the city are not on the hook for the tax. If we funded all stadiums through hotel taxes and cigarette taxes, I think that would be the best way to do it. Because people are still going to buy cigarettes. You can pay however much you want for cigarettes. They're still going to buy them. If they don't buy them, it's a win-win. Either people are paying more money for cigarettes, and it means you can get fancy stuff like new stains, and the other person's on the hook for it. Or they're like, you know what? It's too high. I'm not going to smoke anymore. And now the air quality is better. It's a win-win. You can pay, if you pay for stadiums with hotel taxes and cigarette taxes. Yeah, beat LA. I've heard it for against games against the Dodgers and the Lakers. I think against the Clippers, it's laughable. When I think of beat LA chance in Arizona, I think of it for Dodgers and Lakers. Any other team? No. Like, think of how much money you could get if you raise the price of cigarettes and you tax them on that. And again, privately funded stadiums are the way to go. Privately funded stadiums are the way to go. I would much rather have a privately funded stadium than a publicly funded stadium. But if you are going to tax, no, gas taxes, they hurt too many people. Gas taxes, they hurt the citizens. They hurt the residents of the... The idea should be that residents who don't make the air quality bad shouldn't be on the hook for billionaires' projects. That's the idea. Chicago hotel tax to force more people to buy cigarettes in it. That's actually a good point, I think. That's actually a good argument. But again, in a state like Texas, it's big where you can't go to another state. I'm thinking a state like Texas, where it takes 12 hours to go from one side of the state to the other. 96 Bulls are the best team of all time, yes. Second best team ever. It would have been the Warriors if they could pull off that finals win. Weather Joe with the $2. Thank you so much. Finally hopping on. Looks like a lackluster game. I mean, you missed Jalen McClendon going 1 for 7 for 4 yards. It's been that kind of a day. But Seattle is in the red zone. Oh, they did get the first down. They did mark it as a first down. I did not think that. Josh Gordon, spin move, his 6th catch of the day, gain of 2 on the play. 2nd and 8. Second and 8. The 72 Lakers probably have the win. 96 Bulls are number 1, but I'd say 72 Lakers. It would have been the Warriors if they won the finals. Then again, 17 Warriors, it was the 18 Warriors. No, 17 Warriors. They went 16-1. Went 16-1 against in the playoffs. Like, that was insane. Danucci steps up. He's got a hole. 10, 5, in the end zone. Touchdown, Sea Dragons. Touchdown, Sea Dragons. Touchdown, Sea Dragons. Yeah, we're updating all of this in real time. So let me get that text box changing. Seattle right now with 221 points scored. But because they have the lead, again, as things stand, Seattle would be in the playoffs if the season ended right now. Temporary job has just come to an end. It's extremely bittersweet. That said, I might finally be able to get on a regular schedule. Because you were not getting a lot of sleep. But so, bittersweet to say the least. There are no ties in the XFL. It just goes overtime. It just goes into overtime with the OT shootout. 2-point try from the 5-yard line. Danucci, play action, fade route. VZ drops it. That's a great throw. There might be a taunting. That might be taunting. Hang on a second. They might call taunting. He just did a celebration right in his face after the play too. We'll see if they call it. Jamar Summers getting all up in VZ's face afterwards. I'm not sure if that foot would have stayed in bounds. Jamar Summers very lucky he didn't get called for taunting there. We have a $2 from Better Nathan Lever. Thank you so much for that. 2-0 prayer was dead. STL, sorry, moved to KC. And as things stand, Seattle has a 6-0 lead. They would improve to 7-3. He was trying to tell no one call it. Yeah, he did a solid 3 celebrations right in his face, even after the play, as they were walking back. I thought for sure. Explain the ranking numbers on the bottom. Yes. Okay, so the tiebreaker in the XFL, if 2 teams are tied with the same record, based on everything, the tiebreaker that applies here is points scored and points allowed, what your ranking is. The lower the number, the better. So right now, Seattle is 4th best in the league in points scored. They are 1st in the league in points allowed. St. Louis is second best in the league in points scored. They are fifth best in the league in points allowed. So you add those two numbers up, the lower the number, the better it is. Seattle, 4 plus 1 gets you 5. St. Louis, 2 plus 5 gets you 7. So St. Louis' ranking is 7, Seattle's is 5, which means Seattle owns the tiebreaker over St. Louis. Because again, every other tiebreaker would not apply. Record is the same. If Seattle wins head-to-head, they split the series. Division record would be exactly the same, so it wouldn't apply. It wouldn't apply. No targeting the XFL is pro fun. And there is a line, though. There is a line. I did call in sports my conduct quite a few times so far this season. 1st and 10 for Vegas at the 33. McClendon, the second completion of the day. It is a miracle. Jalen McClendon finally gets another completion. That one goes to Geronimo Allison. I think he's got both. He's got both. A gambling tax could also work. A gambling tax could also work. Vegas not calling any of their timeouts. They have 2 left. 2nd and 4. McClendon fires. That is not even close. Ooh, man, not even close. Chris Jones on the coverage. Geronimo Allison the intended target. Not even close. We'll see how Seattle and Jim Haslett want to play this. Vegas got the ball to start the game. If they don't get the first down here, will Seattle burn a timeout? We will see. Point differential won't matter, though. Point differential won't matter because if Seattle wins, Seattle and St. Louis enter this game tied on point differential. So if Seattle wins by default, they'll have a better point differential. McClendon tries to get the first down with his legs, does not, gets 2 yards on the play, and Seattle will not call a timeout. And now they will. Now they will. Yeah, there's not 18 seconds left. The referee blew the timeout way sooner. He blew it around 24 seconds. Still too long. Still took way too long, but they're going to put some time back on the clock. Because that timeout was not called with 18 seconds. That was tied with about 25 seconds. The square balloons. I did not catch any foul balls today. No, I did not. It's tough for games, I'll put it this way, tough for games like today where, it's tough for games like today where there's a bunch of people in stands. Your best chance is like the weeknight games where no one's in the stands. Dodgers games, Padres games, forget about it. It's too crowded. Like, I love going to games like tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I love going to games like that because it is empty. There's maybe like 9,000 people in the stands. It is phenomenal. Square balloons are the timeouts. You get 3 per half. NFL player wins with a sportsbook and bet during the game. Be banned for life probably. That punt bounces and goes out of bounds at the 23-yard line. So that's where Seattle will take over. I think they were trying to send the house. 23-yard line, I'm not sure you take any chances with DiNucci under center. You got 1 timeout. You might just go into the half here. If you're Seattle, you might just go into the half and call it there. Too risky. You got time for 2 plays before you got to try field goal. So can you go 50-some-odd yards for Eberle to try field goal? I don't think you can. I think you're just going to take a knee. Final tiebreaker is strength of schedule, I think. I think it's strength of schedule. Although Josh Gordon is lining up out wide. He's got 6 catches today. Pearson looks like he's lined up out wide as well. They might try a play here. I'm not sure I like this strategy. Well, sometimes he's hitting Cincinnati's first home run. Yeah, I hated it. I also don't like that he danced on the base pass. I don't like that at all. Then he's going to be held to about 200 this year. And that's why I don't like that. That's exactly why I don't like that. DiNucci almost got strip sacked. The risk is not worth the reward. I get calling the timeout to try and force to get a blocked punt or maybe a good return. But you got to know, 15 seconds left. You have 1 timeout. You got to go 50 yards. You have a lead. I don't think that was a good idea in the slightest bit. And almost backfired tremendously on Seattle. Almost getting the strip sack. I would not have done anything there. I would have gone into the half. It's DiNucci. They're rushing 3. Fires. Caught at the 42-yard line by Vesey. Okay, they have time for a 59-yard field goal if they want to try it. Very lax coverage there. I would not have tried that, though. I would not have tried that in the slightest bit. I would have just gone to the half. Yeah, the risk is not worth the reward. Because you almost got strip sacked. You almost got strip sacked. Now, Dominic Eberle going to try a 59, possibly a 60-yard field goal, which would be the XFL record. Would be the record. Donnie Hageman holds the record with 59-yard kick. John Parker Romo hit a kick here earlier this season from 57 yards. That is the Lumen Field record. Keep in mind, the record is 57. At Lumen Field, the longest kicker by a Seahawk, 55 yards. 61-yard kick. The longest kick in Lumen Field history. The longest kick in XFL history. It is straight enough. It is not even close to long enough. It was straight enough, but not even close. Some Eberle over 2. Can't really blame on that one as we hit the halftime break. Lethargic half, but Seattle up 6-0. I remember Jen Mikowski trying. Oh, I remember that kick. Got fired the next day. I do remember that kick. We think it's a sound of a challenge left. There'd be more fans if one team is named the Cannonball Lugs. Just cannon anything. It's just basic branding 101. Why would I care about Pittsburgh or New Jersey if the idea is to get every team in their city by year 3? Yeah, I'm going to play games in Canada and then just abandon the city after a year. It's exactly why the Tennessee Oilers experiment in Memphis didn't work out. It's like, okay, you're just going to abandon us after the year. Why does it matter? It's like, why should we care? It's just terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Yeah, Kiffin was fired the next day. DiNucci, 13 for 21, 119. Hammonds leading all rushers on the Sea Dragons with 10 yards. Vipers again, no offense whatsoever. 46 yards of offense in that first half. That is it. Actually, when you consider the sacks, 36 yards total. McClendon 2 for 9, 10 yards, but he's also been sacked twice for 10 yards. So the Vipers, if you're watching this stream, congratulations. You have as many passing yards as I do. We have another one in from Barrett Nathan Lever. Thank you so much. Is St. Louis still in if it's 6-0 and not 2-0? No, Seattle's in. Seattle's in right now. The season ended right now. Seattle is in. You can see the points scored, points allowed on your markers right there. Seattle is 4th in points scored, but they are still 1st in points allowed. So the ranking, St. Louis is 7, Seattle is 5. 10 yards, but it's 0 yards really because of 10 yards of sacks. Do you think Canada is a viable market? No. No. For what? XFL, USFL, or NFL? For what? For what league? For USFL, for XFL, probably not because it's too cold. USFL, yes. USFL, absolutely. Just name a team in Canada. If you're talking could it host an NFL team, absolutely not. We know Michael's on the call, Colts Broncos. Oh, he'd be asleep. He'd be asleep. Can a current NFL player compete in the Summer Olympics? They can if they want. What was it, 2016? The Patriots had a player, Ebner, I think, on 2016, competing for the USA Rugby team, the USA Sevens. I think Tyreek Hill, if he trained hard enough, I think he could do trials for the 100-meter. I think he could. But, yeah, no, you're allowed to compete. You're absolutely allowed to compete. Oh, for a spring league, yes. For a spring league, absolutely. For a spring league, it is absolutely a viable option. You got the stadium in place. It's a football star market. Cannon really is a very community-based, everyone rallies around the community there. It is not, it's a very small town feel. It's a very small town feel, having been to Cannon. Very small town feel. Like you go about 0.2 miles away from the stadium, People are parking for these USFL games. They're parking on people's front lawns, on grassy areas. It's really, really interesting. It's a really, really unique area. The Renegades have no business going to the playoffs. St. Louis should get that spot. I agree. I hate the format, especially because every team plays each other. I don't like this format, but just the way the cookie crumbles. It's a bummer that a 7-3 team is going to miss the playoffs, potentially. What's the QB rating for McClendon? My guess is probably 40-something. If I had to guess, I'm typing in right now, my guess is probably 43-4. That's my guess. Let's see. It can't be worse than 39-6 because he hasn't thrown a pick. My guess is 43-4. It is 39-6. How about that? His QB rating is exactly what it is if you spike the ball into the ground. Which, look, he's got 10 yards passing, 10 yards of sacks, so 0 passing yards. So it really is the exact same thing. And they have no first downs passing either. So really, this is watching a guy spike the ball into the ground every single play. This game is worse than General Smallers. It's bad, but at least this game has stakes. Like, there's playoff stakes on the line here. Who wins? Bill Walsh coaching the 23 Guardians versus Hackett coaching the 99 Rams. Hackett. Look, Hackett was inept, but you actually give him a quarterback who's not washed up. He might be able to do some things. On top of that, you still got Mike Morris as the OC overruling him on certain offensive things, so nothing changes there. And Bill Walsh, he's coached some bad teams. He was not good at Stanford. He in the 90s, Niners stints, the first year was rough. Wasn't his fault, obviously. That roster was terrible, but I think the Rams still win that game. If Charlie Ward hadn't got past over NFL teams, what kind of pro football career would he have had given his skill set? Probably not a very good one. There's a reason teams passed on it. It probably would not have been a very good one. I've never been to Ohio, but I feel like the state is well populated enough to get good crowds at these games. Yeah, it's well populated enough. You could easily do a team in Cannon. Just name them Cannon. I don't get, if I'm a Cannon, if I'm a football fan in Cannon, why would I want to go to one of these games? Because I look at this and be like, okay, Pittsburgh Maulers, after this season, they'll just move to Pittsburgh. New Jersey Generals are just going to move to New Jersey after this season. So why should I go to these games, spend my money on these games, and pay money to go to these games and get attached to these teams when they're just going to leave me after this year? The hub model was stupid. Having a team in Cannon and not playing... Having two teams in Cannon as a hub and not playing that team in Cannon is even more stupid. I'm not trashing Bill Walsh. I just want to make that very clear. I'm not trashing Bill Walsh. I'm just saying he wasn't a miracle worker. I'm just saying, look, Bill Walsh is a great coach, top 10 all time, Hall of Famer. I'm not trashing Bill Walsh. I'm just saying you give him the Guardians roster, he's not just going to beat the greatest show on turf. He's not a miracle worker. That's all I'm saying. It's not like a guy like Lombardi where they won right away. Like Walsh, you give him a bad roster. He's had bad seasons. He's had bad games. Who wins Paxton Lynch QBing the 89 Niners versus Johnny Manziel QBing the 99 Rams? Whew. That's tough. Manziel at least could run. You might be able to use Manziel's feet. Lynch is just a statue. That's the problem. Manziel, as bad as he was, and he was bad, at least he's not a statue. He's not a guaranteed sack every time. So I'd probably say the Rams. Is this my full-time job now? Yes, this is my full-time job. I do this for a living. I do JG9, JG8, JG7, all these streams. The Twitch game, I do everything for a living now. Yeah. You can be the greatest searcher of all time, doesn't have the patient was blown up by a nuke. Exactly. So I think Manziel and the Rams win that game. Also because, look, Roger Craig versus Marshall Faulk. because it will come down to the running game also. It will come down to the running game. Roger Craig, great running back, obviously. He should be in the Hall of Fame. But a lot of what made Craig great was how good he was in the passing game. I'm not sure Lynch will be able to utilize him. Marshall Faulk, it doesn't matter what Johnny Manziel does, because he can run. He can take over games by himself with his footwork and whatnot. Like, I'm not saying that Craig can't do that. It's just he was better as a receiver. That's really where he was utilized the best, was as a receiving back. And Lynch would not be able to utilize his skill set the same way that Manziel would be able to utilize Faulk's skill set, because Manziel wouldn't have to do a whole lot. But here in the playoffs too. So here's the playoff situation. I'm going to be in Kansas City next weekend for the NFL Draft. So Saturday's game is out. I'm not doing the South Division Championship between Houston and Arlington. I'm not doing that one. The North Division between DC and whoever wins this game, I am doing that. The question is when I am able to do that. It will not be on time. In all likelihood, it will not be on time. The reason for that is my flight gets in at 2:40 p.m. Eastern from Kansas City. It gets in at 2:40 p.m. I will have luggage to get. I will have to get a car back from the airport to my place, which is, it's not far. It's not far, but knowing how slow luggage is, it will not be possible, probably, unless the plane gets here early, unless the plane lands early, and luggage works its miracle. It will not be possible for me to do this. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to live stream DC against either St. Louis or Seattle once I get back. In all likelihood, we'll be starting the stream in the second quarter. I will put on my Twitter when I will be live streaming the game. I will tentatively set the stream start time for 3:30 p.m. Eastern. I will tentatively set the start time for 3:30 p.m. Eastern on that one. If I had known I was doing this, I would not have scheduled my flight for that. I would have scheduled an earlier flight. Although I'm leaving at like 8 o'clock KC time, so it's about as early as I could do. So that's the plan. The championship game we are live streaming. There is no issue there. We are live streaming the championship in real time. Because how can we not? How can we not? Tamo, I think, will get a look. McCarron, he wants to be in the XFL as a starter, so I think he's done. So again, South Division, no. North Division, yes, but on a delay. And the championship, 100,000% we are doing that. The D-backs play that day. At the same time, I don't care. I am missing that game to stream the XFL championship. I can't miss it. After everything we've been through this season, I cannot miss this game. So that's the playoff schedule. So we have 2 more games to stream. Really 1.5 more games to stream. Hopefully, and everything. Obviously, stuff can change. If the flight gets in earlier, then I can live stream earlier. If the flight gets delayed, obviously I can't really do anything about that. So it's completely out of my control. I'll try to make it on here. It's fun. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you for tuning in this week. What was the NFL's equivalent of Derek Redmond? Probably Kellen Winslow in the 82 in the Epic in Miami. Probably that one. He was basically helped off the field. He was basically limping like crazy. All right, third quarter of action. We are officially back underway. Again, you're seeing on the screen the St. Louis-Seattle playoff scenario, the combined ranking. Kind of beat them to the punch there with that one. I can't believe it took that long for them to show that. I can't believe it took that long for them to show it. Yeah, King Butler absolutely seems caliber. He's got the height, too, to do it. It took them that long to show the combined ranking and how that worked. But I've got it up in real time on my screen. We are updating it as best we can. Haven't had to update it too much today because it's only been 6-something. Lindsey tries to get to the outside. That is not his strength whatsoever. And he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Second effort there. We'll see when the whistle blew. By the way, it's going to be 2nd and 10 at the absolute best. 17 Eagles, 07 Giants. 17 Eagles. Giants fans, I mean, look, if that's the game we get, both times they met, they were probably 2 of the best games of the season. 2nd and 12 is where they mark it now. Play action. Screen pass goes to Pearson. Pearson breaks a tackle, gain of 3 on the play. Ja'Cour Pearson, his first catch of the day, leads the XFL with now 58 receptions and 631 receiving yards. Third and 9. In a rough first half for the receivers for Seattle, outside of Josh Gordon, they didn't really get anyone going. So we'll see what DiNucci can do here. 3rd and 9. 1 for 5 on 3rd down. Empty backfield, 5 wide. 3rd and 9. They rush 3. DiNucci jumping in the pocket. Now he escapes the pocket, even though it was completely clean. There's pressure. Has to escape again. DiNucci fires from the 6-yard line. And is caught! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Blake Jackson! Ben DiNucci! How about that? How did he do that? How did Ben DiNucci pull that off? Had a clean pocket and just decided to escape it for some reason. Then he gets out of a sack, directs traffic at the 6-yard line, and then just throws him a jump ball for Blake Jackson. Oh my goodness! Blake Jackson with a phenomenal grab. Ben DiNucci with a phenomenal play directing traffic. And it's first down for the Sea Dragons after all that. Doing a little shrug afterwards. Michael Jordan shrug. People talk about him like an MVP candidate, and that's why for all the boneheaded plays he makes, he can sometimes make magic happen like that. Gain of 16 on the play, one of the most impressive 16-yard passes you will ever see in your life. First down for the Sea Dragons. They have some jawing on the play. That was incredible. For Seattle making it into playoffs, right now Seattle's in. Right now Seattle is in. I've got the points scored, points allowed, that tiebreaker updating in real time. They rush 3. He's going deep. He's got a man. It's underthrown for Pearson. Incomplete. It is underthrown by just a hair. Coverage on the play broken up by C.J. Avery, the linebacker. They had the mismatch. He got the best receiver in the XFL on a linebacker. Yeah, that's just a security guy shrug. That is absolutely the security guy shrug. No PI there. That's good coverage. Underthrown ball. I don't think Seattle will challenge this. Yeah, this is... If St. Louis was playing, this is a we need more point situation. Right now, Seattle just needs to win and they're in. 2nd and 10. They rush forward. DiNucci fires off his back foot. I don't know if that was intended for Pearson or if it was intended on a slant route for Jackson. Either way, it's an incomplete pass. An off-balance throw with a clean pocket, too. DiNucci's footwork has not been impressive today. There was no reason to throw that off his back foot. I don't know if that was intended for Pearson or Jackson. Either way, good breakup there on the play by Deontay Anderson. Empty backfield, 5 wide. Seattle 2 for 6 on 3rd down. They got 1. Let's see if they can get a second. DiNucci as they rush 4. Fires again off his back foot, but he's caught! It is caught by Jawan Green! It is caught by Jawan Green there in Vegas territory at the 34-yard line. It's not easy being green, except on that one. Slant route. Nice play by DiNucci to thread the needle. Gets the first down. Is Rodgers going to end up on the 49ers? No, he'll end up on the Jets eventually. With timeout on the field, Vegas is going to burn the first of their 3 timeouts, so they'll have 2 left. Will the Bills have won Super Bowl if Dan Marino was their quarterback? Yes. Yes. Yeah, ridiculous at all to make sense. I completely agree. I don't like this format. I don't like the fact that, especially, this is like the 91, this is like the WLAF all over again. For those who don't know, the WLAF, 1991. 4 teams made the playoffs. You had 3, it was a 10-team league broken up into 3 divisions. So you have 3 division winners and a wild card. The Frankfurt Galaxy were 7-3. They missed the playoffs that year. Meanwhile, the New York, New Jersey Knights and Birmingham Fire both made it at 5-5. Not surprisingly, neither one of those teams won their playoff game. Frankfurt Galaxy 7-3 missed the playoffs. They're the 3rd best team in the league. They missed it. And what's crazy is that the final week of the season, the Sacramento Surge played the Frankfurt Galaxy. Sacramento won that game. If Frankfurt won that game, there would have been an 8-2 team that missed the playoffs, which is insane. How come for NBC and Fox USFL coverage they use the old NFL score bugs? Because they're reused assets. It makes sense. It also provides some legitimacy and professionalism to the league. But that's why that's why. Why not make the why not use their old score bugs? If I talk about gambling, yes. No problem with the gambling suspensions. Just don't gamble. It's not that hard. Why the WFL? Turns out it's a lot of money to have a league in America and in Europe where you're flying all over the place. It's a lot of money. The fans in Europe didn't really know what was going on, and they wasn't really embraced by Europe. Italy prevented the NFL from having a team in San Siro, so. So Vegas just used their timeout. Again, as things stand, for those of you just joining us, if the season ended right now, Seattle is in. The tiebreaker is the combined ranking from points scored and points allowed. You can see that on your screen right now. Williams suspended for 6 games. He's 6 games because he bet on non-NFL related things, but in-team facility. The guys who bet on non-NFL things in-team facility is 6 games. The guys who bet on NFL games, they're out for a year. So the 99 Rams for the Super Bowl with any other QB. I mean, if they had McNair, if they had Brunell, probably. I mean, Warner was perfect for that team. All right, 2-1 now, Dallas, Minnesota. 2-1 now, Dallas, Minnesota. Worst score bug ever. For NFL, the Monday Night Football bug in 2000 where they used nicknames. Why illegal for the team? I'm not sure. I have to do more research on that, but I know that San Siro, they were trying to get a team in San Siro, and they couldn't get it. The worst score bug ever is definitely the nickname score bug from 2000 Monday Night Football. That was terrible. It just looked so arena football-like. 1st and 10 after the timeout. Empty backfield, 5 wide. It's 4 on the defensive line. We'll see how many they rush. They rush all 4. Tucci pump fake on the screen pass to Gordon. Now he's fired for the end zone. He's got Pearson. He's got Pearson. Touchdown, Sea Dragons. Ja'Cour Pearson meditating in the end zone as Pearson with his 2nd grab of the day, the best receiver in the XFL, leads the league in receptions and receiving yards, and you see why with plays like that. Time to update that bug just a bit more. It's a 2-possession game. You can hear St. Louis crying out in agony over that. The ranking is still 5 for Seattle, but that is totally fine for them because of the season ending right now. Seattle is in the playoffs. Vikes pack, yeah, Vikes Fins, it was bad. Jags also, I mean, it was, I don't know what the point of that was. You're going for 2 from the 5. DiNucci drops back, fires, slant route, Gordon muscles over his man, Josh Gordon. How about that? Keelan Kennedy on the coverage, good coverage, but Gordon just outmuscles him. Says, not so fast, this ball is mine. 11-12 left, it is 14-0. And you can see it is not over yet, but with the way Vegas' offense has been playing, you can sense some desperation in St. Louis. 2 third-down conversions by the Sea Dragons there. DiNucci with some great plays with the touchdown pass. And now it's a 14-0 ball game. And as things stand, the rankings, Seattle with 229 points scored, that's 4th best. 168 allowed, that is the top total. Their ranking is 5. St. Louis, their ranking is 7. That is fixed, that cannot change. The points score and points allowed, the ranking obviously can change. But the points score, points allowed cannot change, obviously. Jax is a much better ranking. JX is way better. It used to be JC, and then we all threw a fit because it looked ugly. JX is so much better. Anything with an X is just better. So it's a simple rule. Kickoff return to the 24-yard line. Kickoff return by Sinke Sweeting. Yeah, I do like ESPN's hockey scorebook now. I do like that, but... And VGK is kind of cool, I'm not going to lie. VGK is so unique that I have no problem with it. I think for the Broncos, I think that Bronx. I think that was the worst one. I think they actually had Bronx for the Broncos Rams 2000 game. I think it was Bronx. Yeah, PHO is terrible. Always should be PHX. I like ARI better than ARZ. 11 minutes on the dot left. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. PHX is the best, yeah. PHX is the best. Loss of 5 on the run. Bottled up, blown up in the backfield. Yeah, you can feel the momentum of this game completely shifting. Back-to-back drives now. Or 2 out of the last 2 drives, they got a touchdown. Yeah, I'm looking at the Broncos-Rams game from 2000. I really think they use Bronx as the score bug there. Yeah, they use Bronx. B-R-O-N-C-S. That was the worst of the nickname bugs. Slam out, it is caught! 40, 45, 50, 45, 40! Down the 35-yard line for the first time today. Vegas gets a first down through the air. For the first time today, it's a first down through the air. It is Travis Kuntz. Down to the 35-yard line. A 56-yard gain. That's more yards than they had in the first half combined. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line now. Play action. McClendon fires. End zone. He's got a man. He misses him. Oh, he misses him. Sweeting the intended target. McClendon knew he had it too. McClendon knew he had it. Yeah, the show abbreviation is just terrible. That's just terrible. Had Sweeting wide open. Wide open. I don't think they've announced the late. They haven't announced the layoffs yet. It's going to happen, but they haven't announced it yet. They'll wait till after the draft. They need all hands on deck for the draft. 2nd down. Play action. It is dropped. It is dropped on the play by Jeff Badette. Had a pretty good start to the season. Had gotten kind of cold lately. Why didn't they use nicknames? I don't know. I think they just didn't want too much text. They didn't want to use city names or abbreviations, so they wanted to go team names, but it's too big. It makes no sense. 3rd and 10 at the 35-yard line. We'll see if this is 4-down territory. Snap. Clendon fires. Miscommunication. 3 straight incomplete passes. 10 at target, I guess if you want to call it that, was Matthew Sexton. 4th down. We'll see what they do here. Again, on 1st down, after the 55-yard gain, they had Sweeting wide open. McClendon just missed him. This would be a 53-yard field goal attempt at Lewin Field, a tough place to kick. Again, the NFL record is only 55 yards at this venue. This is a 53-yard attempt. Courtesy of Sam Sloman. Sloman, it is straight enough. Is it long enough? It is good. So the Vipers, after the 55-yard gain, get on the board. 8:10 left. Vipers finally score. We have to update this ranking. The Sea Dragons are still in first. Like you told me, you'd only allow 3 points in the first 37 minutes of action. They would have taken that in a heartbeat. Did they use skins? Let me see. Let me check. Check the Monday Football schedule from 2000. Checking it so I can put it in. Let's see. So they played Dallas. So let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Did they use... Did they use it? No, they used Wash. They used Wash for that. It was Cowboys against Wash. Well, it's weird because they used Bronx for Broncos, even though that's 7 letters. And Cowboys, they spelled out Cowboys, all 7 letters. So Cowboys against Wash. I've seen that before with Nigeria and Germany. I've seen that before. I've seen that. Yeah, it would probably go NGA. Probably go NGA. Yeah, they used Wash for that back then. All right, Sea Dragons have the ball after the return by McKnight. They've scored a touchdown on 2 of their last 3 drives, and the one they didn't score on, it just ran out of time. So last 2 drives where clock was on issue, touchdown. Let's see what happens here. Tanucci fires sideline, well overthrown, intended for VZ. That was an incomplete pass, 2nd down. And as things stand, Seattle's ranking is still 5th. St. Louis's ranking is still 7th. So as things stand, Seattle would be 7-3, and they would own the tiebreaker over St. Louis. And we're updating all these in real time. No, they haven't played. I don't think they. If they played before, I think Germany was listed first. A brief stoppage on the field. Not entirely sure why. Here we go, 2nd and 10 at the 36-yard line. 4 wide. Looks like got Hammonds in the backfield. He's only got 10 yards rushing today. They're going to give it to him, though. Oh, this one actually goes to Charlie. It's not Hammonds. No, it is Hammonds in the backfield. My apologies. 3rd and 9. So just 11 rushing yards today for Hammonds, averaging less than 2 yards per carry. And yeah, the Sea Dragons enter this game with 4.5 yards per carry. They enter this game as the #1 team in the XFL in yards per carry. They didn't run the ball a lot. They actually had fewer rushing attempts than any other team in the XFL. Just 187 entering today. And wow, that's for Tanucci. Tanucci, empty backfield, 2 for 2 on the last drive on 3rd down. Can he get one here? Tanucci fires well short of the sticks, but what an effort by Juwan Green! Green at the 50! Green at the 45-yard line! What an effort by Green! What an effort by Green, Juwan Green! He was short, well short of the sticks when he caught that pass. With defenders on him and just terrible tackling there by Vegas. Terrible tackling. Thought Keely Kennedy wrapped him up, but not so fast. Juwan Green keeps the drive alive there now. 3 for 3 in this half on 3rd down. You can sense Danucci starting to feel it. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Once again in Vegas territory for the 4th straight drive. Danucci fires. Quick pass to Jackson. Gain of 5, they'll say. Best draft that isn't NFL. I'd say NHL, then NBA, then MLB. I would say NBA, then NHL, MLB. I'd put NBA second. It's ranked on how quickly they'll get to the majors. That's really what it's ranked on, how quickly you get to the majors. How quickly can you start rooting for the guys that drafted. Josh Gordon, catch number 7. Will they give him a 1st down? They will not. 3rd and 1. Probably 4-down territory with the way Everly's kicking 0 for 2. Then again, the 61-yarder was not his fault. 3rd and 1. Will Green Bay drift to keep in the later rounds? I could see it. I could see it. Tanucci looking to run. Now he's got to throw off his back foot. Fires. He's got a man. He's got a man. Touchdown. Touchdown, Sea Dragons. Ben DiNucci extends the play, and he is staying alive. Jawan Green had the big catch on third down earlier. The Sea Dragons are now 4 for 4 on third down in this second half. Seattle is starting to pour it on. Seattle's starting to pour it on. Ben DiNucci, how did he keep this one alive? How on earth did he find him? What a throw by DiNucci. Extends the play, and you can sense in St. Louis it is all starting to fall apart. Sea Dragons going to go for 2 here. They get it. It's a 3-possession game. And that might be enough with the way Vegas' offense is playing and with the way DiNucci has been throwing the ball lately. This one might be over. I'd say Brett Favre winning because the Vipers literally are at 0%. Slam route dropped. It's dropped by VZ. That's the second pass he's dropped in the end zone today. That would have made a 3% game. That would have pretty much put this game on ice. Vegas and St. Louis need a miracle. 20 minutes left in this ball game. This one is looking incredibly dicey for the Battlehawks. The Sea Dragons are 4 for 4 on third down in this half. DiNucci 2 touchdown passes and a rushing touchdown. They've scored on their last 3 untimed drives. It has been that kind of a half. This one looks over. Vegas has had 1 play. They have a 55-yard pass. And that's it. Everything else, they've had pretty much nothing going their way. The Cowboys win the Super Bowl versus the Bills with Timmy from South Park plays Emmitt Smith. They don't win 28. They don't win 28 if that happens. They don't win 28. What if Lionel Hutz was Favre's lawyer? It might have even less of a chance then. How was Cardinals Emmitt Smith? Washed up. No explosion whatsoever. He was a complete shell of himself. It was embarrassing. He should have retired in Dallas. It was one of those you got to know when to quit. It was one of those situations. So again, as things stand, Seattle's in the playoffs, and we are live streaming the game between Seattle and DC on Sunday whenever I get back from the airport. Whenever I get back from the airport, we will live stream that game, which will probably be middle of the first quarter, start of the second quarter. XFL Championship, we are live streaming all the way through. The AFI Bears and Pats with Timmy from South Park, and with the way they were running the ball, probably. With the way they were running, all they have to do is just give the ball to Walter Payton. That's it. Roughnecks, Sea Dragons, XFL Championship. I know the Defenders won. Defenders have looked a bit shaky defensively lately, but both games that the Sea Dragons have played against the Defenders, great games, but the Defenders won both. This way, you don't leave your fear in someone else's hands. That's exactly why. I feel bad for the Battlehawks. I feel bad for them. Because a 7-3 team missing the playoffs is just cruel. Kenny Golladay, rank among the all-time worst free agent signings. I'd probably say top 5. I'd probably say top 5. I don't know how you could go anything less than top 10. I don't know how you can go anything less than that. Considering the money they gave him, the lack of production, he's got to be top 5. Did he even score a touchdown with him? Did he even score a touch? He scored 1. He scored 1 touchdown. I think it was the last week of the season. I think it was the last week. I mean, that's insane. $72 million for 1 touchdown. Yeah, it's top 5. It's top 5. It's not the worst ever because Albert Hainsworth will always be the worst. David Boston, it's probably number 2. But Golladay is up there. Golladay is up there. I'll be at the DC game next week. That's awesome. Have fun. Have fun. Fair is looking shaky defensively. It's peak irony. It is. Especially because they've been very good defensively for most of the season. All right, kickoff. Here we go. It's fielded at the 11-yard line. So the 20. Got a bit of a hole. 25 and shakes out the hole. 30, 35, and out at the 44-yard line. So a nice return there by Sweeting. But there was a flag on the play, so this one might be coming back. This might be coming back. Yeah, Alvin Harper's up there. Any Raider MVP, any Raider Super Bowl MVP that they signed is up there. It really should be the top team in the 2 wild cards. It really should be. All right, so this return is coming back. The glimmer of hope that St. Louis fans had is getting come back for a face mask. So mark this one around the 10-yard line. The 12 to be exact. Andre Rison was terrible for the Jags. It was terrible for them. It was because nobody win MVP. Larry Brown, probably. Larry Brown. Malcolm Smith. Probably Malcolm Smith. I'd say Malcolm Smith. Well, I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Incomplete pass. It is dropped on the play by the tight end Brandon Dillon. I really hope they don't add an 8 seed. I could see them doing it for money, but I really hope they don't. The 1 seed should have an incentive to getting a bye. That bye is too important. And Timmy Smith, Dexter Jackson. Timmy Smith didn't win MVP. Timmy Smith did not win MVP. It was Doug Williams. Doug Williams won MVP that year. Timmy Smith probably deserved MVP, but he did not win MVP that year. I think 200 rushing yards gets the MVP, but it does not. Handoff gets 2 yards on the play. Shy McKenzie. Yeah, Chuck Howley. Although Howley's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Howley's going to be in the Hall of Fame, so. It was a weird MVP for sure, but he is in the Hall of Fame, so. Are the Roughnecks guaranteed? I would sure think so with the way the Renegades are playing. We have some illegal movement. Back them up 5. No, Cowboys have a... Yeah, Cowboys have... Yeah, because they won 5 and had 2 win in Super Bowl 12 and then... Yes, 7, yeah. All right, 3rd and 12. Ball's at the 11. McLennan pump fakes, just has to run for it, only gets to the 14-yard line. Another 3 and out. Oh, Jake Scott. He could be a Hall of Famer. Jake Scott could be a Hall of Famer. He was one of the better safeties of the 70s. The Renegades played safely, but not to be their hand versus Houston. Did they just flat out stink today? I don't know. I can't tell. I mean, their offense has always been terrible. So I can't tell if they're holding their cards close to their chest or if they just stink. I can't tell. Fourth down, they have to punt this one away. Fair catch at the 40-yard line by Kelvin McKnight. Seattle has scored on both drives so far this half. Can they go 3 for 3? I'd say he was underrated at his peak. At his peak, he was underrated. Biggest MVP sub, Jacoby Jones at 47, Rod Martin 15, Dwayne Thomas at 6. I can't think of any logical argument to give it to Staubach there. It should have been Dwayne Thomas. Snell at 3. Dexter Jackson, 37. Danucci fires and is caught by Gordon. Catch number 8 for Flash. Another first down. Once again, for the 5th straight drive, they enter Vegas territory. We'll have to check that podcast out. I'm always fascinated by how they make the schedule. I'm always fascinated by that. Danucci, handoff. Goes to Hammonds. Only getting a 2 on the play. Again, a very, very rough game so far for Hammonds. Just 13 rushing yards on 7 carries. I think the Jags make the Super Bowl. Honestly, I think the Jags make it. If that was the case, I think the Jags make it. 2nd and 9. Ball's at the 45-yard line. Danucci drops back. They rush 4. Fires. He's wide open and is caught by Pearson. Pearson, with his 3rd catch of the day, comes up a bit hobbling. Comes up hobbling just a bit. And he left the game earlier with an injury. Came back. Tackled there by Keelan Kennedy. 3rd and 3. Danucci is 4 for 4 this half. Can he go 5 for 5? Let's see. 3rd and 3. At the 39-yard line. Drops back, rushed 4. Fires over the middle, wide open! 5 for 5! 5 for 5! Blake Jackson. Return of the Jack. What a quarter for Danucci. Gain a 13 on the play. They got time for one more play. This is the final play of the half. Mount Rushmore of worst MVPs. Let me think about this. 26-yard line. Danucci fires. End zone! Looking for his man! Josh Gordon! Tight coverage. Is there a flag? There is! There's a flag in the end zone. Josh Gordon draws the PI on Keelan Kennedy. Josh Gordon draws the flag in the end zone. And this is just unraveling. A complete unraveling right now. See, worst MVPs. So it's the end of the quarter. I would say Edelman at 53 did not deserve it. I would say Howley obviously was on the losing team, so I can't say he deserved it. Staubach at 6 did not deserve it, and Namath at 3. So I'd say Namath, Howley, Staubach, Edelman. That's your 4. No, Howard. I mean, he got a touchdown at least. Howard had a kickoff for a touchdown. I would give it to Favre or Reggie White. I would definitely give it to Reggie White, but Namath, yes. Howley, yes. Ray Lewis. I mean, that whole defense. You give to anyone that defense. I can't say Staubach deserved MVP whatsoever. If his name was not Roger Staubach, we'd be looking at that like, how did he win MVP? Completed 12 passes. He completed 12 passes. Dwayne Thomas deserved that way more than he did. Holmes at 54, yeah, I'd probably give it to Damian Williams. Probably give it to Damian. Yeah, Hines Ward's a good one. Manning had a weak MVP for sure. No, Brady at 55 deserved it. Brady at 55 played lights out. He deserved it. I have no problem with Brady getting it. Yeah, I think Beck does look sad. What team will Zach Wilson play for this season? Let's go. Screw it. Let's go Titans. Let's just. They need a backup quarterback because Malik Willis is not the guy. Deion Branch, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, yes, they don't have Mike White anymore. I forgot they don't have Mike White. So yeah, I think I'll stay with the Jets. He'll stay with the Jets for another year. I forgot they don't have Mike White anymore. So my apologies. I think he's going to stay with the Jets then. Rate 36, yeah, it was bad, but look, at least he... You could easily give it to Ty Law there, but at least he led the drive at the end. Best Super Bowl MVP performance, Montana or Young? Good question. I would say Young. The one that doesn't get talked about a lot is Phil Simms. Phil Simms' MVP at 21 was incredible. Worst NBA Finals MVPs, I know clear frontrunner is Iguodala. And to be fair, fate of the universe on the line, give me Iguodala. That's the one time that I had no problem with a losing player won. If LeBron won MVP that year, I would have no problem with it. He pretty much carried the Cavs on his back. They had no one healthy. If you wanted to give LeBron the MVP for taking that to 6, I would not have had a problem with that. Handoff. Goes to Lindsey. Lindsey trying to bounce the outside, and he is stuffed. Lindsey, both times he tried to go outside, nothing doing. Lost a 3 on the play. I mean, Titans would still have Tannehill. They just need a backup. Titans would still have Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, NBA usually gets it right. It's also a 7-game series, and there's only 5 guys on the floor at a time. So they usually get it right. There's usually someone that takes over and whatnot. There's only really one stat people care about with that, it's points. Yeah, there are other stats. Really, at the end of the day, it comes down to points. World Series MVP has not been given. It's not been given. But Jerry West did win the NBA Finals in what, 69? No, not Tannehill to the Jets. No, someone said Zach Wilson. What team would he play for? And I forgot that Mike White was no longer on the Jets, so I said that Zach Wilson would now be on the Jets. But I did say before I thought that the Titans need a backup quarterback to trade him there. The Titans have Tannehill as their starter. Why Malik Willis slipped down to the 3rd round? Have you seen him throw a football? VC! Diving crab! VC making that look easy! Delivering catch, touchdown, Sea Dragons! Folks, this one looks over. Jordan VZ. Unbelievable grab. The 3rd touchdown pass of the half for Ben DiNucci. The Jets don't get A-Rod to his son McCarron. No, but that would be quite the downgrade. They're going to go for 2. Unbelievable. Ben DiNucci has come alive in this half. So he drops back. They rush 4. End zone wide open. Touchdown. Blake Jackson. 14:25 left. And folks, the playoff hopes of St. Louis rest on the Sea Dragons blowing a 28-3 lead. Never in playoff history has a team blown a 28-3 second half lead. So, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. The Sea Dragons have scored a touchdown on every drive this half. Again, the lower the ranking number, the better. With one more touchdown, they can overtake Houston and St. Louis potentially and drop their ranking down even more. The best ranking you can possibly have is 2. Top defense, top offense. It might be a 3. Kick bounces at the 15-yard line. Sweeting down to the 27. So it would not have mattered if Anthony Beck went for 3 or not at this point, because it would not have made any difference. The final home game for the Sea Dragons this year, the fans have come out. Looks like a pretty good crowd. Actually looks like a pretty good crowd at Lumen Field. Probably solid 12,000 there, 13,000 there. We'll see what the final number is, but seeing the Sea Dragons absolutely light it up as they are 14 minutes away from clinching a spot in the playoffs. Empty backfield, McClendon fires it short. It's caught. Still on his feet. I don't know how he stayed in bounds. I don't know how he tiptoed that sideline all the way. Cam Sutton on the grab. Just the second first down today for the Vipers through the air. As they're in Seattle territory. Why they have the clock savages? I think it was more for the assistance of the chains crew and whatnot, but I don't have a problem with the rule change. Clinton stays on his feet. I don't know how he stayed on his feet. He's going to try and run for it. Out to the 42-yard line. There's a flag on the play. Yeah, but, okay, so Hurts played lights out in that Super Bowl, but only giving it to a losing player if no one on the winning team really deserves it. It's holding on the defense, holding on Hicks. So I can't really give him the MVP. You got to play flawlessly on a losing team, and no one on the winning team deserves it. It's got to be one of those situations. And I can't say that. I cannot say that about Hurts. First and 10 after the holding penalty on the Sea Dragons. It's to the 41-yard line. It is crazy. Orlando 1-9, DC 9-1. The one loss came to the 1-9 team. I think that's got to be a first. Again, that last penalty called on Clarence Hicks, the linebacker. Empty backfield, 5 wide. Time is running out for Vegas and St. Louis. They got to go quick. Clendon fires low, incomplete. Intended target play was Cam Sutton, who had the catch earlier to get them into Seattle territory. Again, remember where we were in the season. Seattle was 0-2. It was 4th down. They were losing with 40 seconds left against the Vipers. If Josh Gordon does not make that grab and score that touchdown, Seattle is 0-3. Their season is pretty much done. That play changed the entire trajectory of the season, as perhaps no team has been hotter since then. Then the Sea Dragons' simultaneous possession is picked off! It is picked off! They rule it an interception for the Sea Dragons. And any last hope is gone. Quinterio Cole with 12:36 left, and at this point, it is a formality. Quinterio Cole outmuscles for the ball. Outmuscles Brandon Dillon for that one. Ends up coming down with it. The first controversy ever in Seattle history about simultaneous possession. But either way, Seattle has the ball. I think it would be a terrible idea if the XFL and USFL went head-to-head. I think it would be a terrible idea. You're just cannibalizing each other. There's only such a limited market for spring football. Why cut that in half? Why would you cut that in half? The market that watches the XFL and the market that watches the USFL, they overlap. You either care about spring football or you don't. It's one of those situations. Yeah, the XFL is surviving for season 2. They've already said they're surviving for a second season. So, I would not worry too much. And no replacement refs this time. Family reference +1. USFL might be in trouble. The TV ratings have not been great. The attendance obviously is not great. It just has not been great. 28-3 ball game. DiNucci has thrown a touchdown on 3 straight drives. On their last 4 untimed downs, or untimed down, wow, I cannot speak. On the last 4 untimed drives, they have scored a touchdown. Will all USFL teams play in their home stadium? That seems to be the plan. That seems to be the plan. If Seattle scores a touchdown here, they increase in the ranking to 3, maybe even 2. In the points scored ranking. And their overall ranking would go to 4, maybe even 3. Which is a really good sign for them. Not that it matters right now. Right now, Seattle is in the playoffs, and it's been that way for quite some time. St. Louis put the pressure on. They did everything they could against Orlando. They set an XFL record for points scored. They put a ton of pressure on the Sea Dragons today. And for a brief moment, it looked for a second like the Battlehawks might have a chance to somehow salvage this. But it looks like it is going to be very clearly Seattle playing DC in a rematch of the last 2 meetings, which came down to the final minute. Came down to Seattle not doing anything in the final minute. I just want to saying superstar player. I mean, they just need something at this point. They need fans. That's what they need. They need to play games in actual environments. Like, you can't watch the USFL right now and watch what's happening right now in the XFL and not notice a difference with the fans. You can't not notice a difference. Battlehawks' worst loss, it was a Sea Dragons game. Easily the Sea Dragons game. They laid an egg. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Yeah, it was the one last week. It's easily the one last week. They got nothing going offensively after the first quarter. DiNucci in 4 wide. Handoff. Goes to the fullback. He's got the first down. Charlie's been about the only one running well today. Getting a 13 on the play. Good for a Sea Dragons first down. Yeah, the hub thing was to save money, which I got for the first year, but the second year, there was no point in having 4 hubs. There was no point. 4 hubs, you're traveling the exact same amount, so I don't get it whatsoever. First and 10. Ball at the 47-yard line. DiNucci hands it off to Hammonds. Hammonds bottled up behind the line. That is the one thing that they will have to get figured out going into next week's playoff game. Joe Montana QBing the defenders. Joe Montana QBing the defenders. Second and 11 is what they're going to say. Ball at the 46. DiNucci, empty backfield. Fires. Deep. Drop by Pearson. An uncharacteristic drop by Pearson. You don't see that too often from the best receiver in the XFL. It was over the middle, maybe heard footsteps. Bit behind him, but a catch that he normally makes. Coverage on the play there made by Jamar Summers. It's quite an eventful game. Seattle is 5 for 5 on third down this half. They converted just 1 third down in the first half. Completely different story here. Can they go 6 for 6 and keep this drive alive? DiNucci with just a hair under 300 yards passing. He's going to step in the pocket here. Fires. Deep shot. Looking for Gordon. Gordon! What a grab! What a grab by Josh Gordon! What a grab down to the 14-yard line! Flash Gordon! How did he do that? You can see why he was the best receiver in the NFL at one point. Keeps the feet in bounds. We have a 199 from beat up. Thank you so much. Go Seattle. I mean, they're playing lights out right now. What a grab by Gordon with the toe drag swag. Somehow stays in bounds down to the 14-yard line. What a play. A 40-yard catch. Josh Gordon with 9 catches today. This is the best game of his career in the XFL. DiNucci now scrambling. Taking off. He's at the 10. Runs out of bounds at the 9-yard line. You have to think this might be DiNucci's last drive. They score a touchdown here. You're not playing him. I wouldn't risk it. I would not risk anything whatsoever. This might be it for DiNucci. This might be the last drive he plays. Play either Montez or Frost after this because this one is over. Second and 4. 2017 Browns had their moments. They just couldn't finish games. Intercepted in the end zone. That's the one thing that DiNucci has had trouble with this season. A lot of red zone, a lot of end zone interceptions. That one is picked off there by Marwin Evans. So finally a defensive stand for the Vipers as they're posing, even though it's 28-3 and that's the first stop you've made all game. And you stupidly took it out of the end zone and now have it at the 3-yard line. So I'm not sure why you're posing necessarily. If I'm Seattle, you know what? Screw it. Challenge it. If I'm Seattle, screw it. Challenge for anything. When else are you going to use it? When else are you going to use it? I would just challenge for anything. Hands to the face, holding, something like that. Anything. I'm not going to use it at any other point. But either way, 1st and 10 at the 3-yard line. It's too little too late, it looks like. Gain of 3 on the run. Who's to love it? The 2017 Browns, I mean, yes, they were winless, but there were a lot of games they could have won if Kaiser was not their QB. If you put Montana at QB instead of Kaiser, they're winning at least 6 games. They were not that terrible of a team. They keep saying 34 points. Yeah, I don't know why he wouldn't stay in the end zone because touchback takes us to 35. It makes no sense. Second and 7. Handoff. Up the middle. Love it down to the 9, maybe the 10-yard line. 3rd and 4. Would 34 be enough? I mean, either way, not that it matters because they're up by 25 with 8 minutes left. It's not going to happen. 3rd and 3 at the 10. I'm trying to think points allowed wise. It might work. Yeah, that tiebreaker is not going to come into play. Clendon play action, fires. It is caught. Stays in bounds for a bit. Still in bounds. Sexton still in bounds. Down at the 48-yard line. He had 38 yards on the play. Yeah, they should have won against Green Bay, Tennessee. They look good against Jacksonville as well, defensively. They cut off less than the login for Timberwolves pregame? Really? Wow. That's bizarre. I'm not sure why you're watching these on Bally versus TBS or TNT. The 47-yard line. Handoff. goes to Mackenzie. Nothing doing. Do I find the CFL entertaining? I do like the CFL. I do like watching it from time to time. I do like watching it. Luckiest head coach in league history, Barry Switzer was gifted a dynasty team. Anyone could have coached the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. I would say that. Yeah, how is St. Louis is not winning the tiebreaker right now? It's not even close. Clinton fires not to anyone really, intended for Sexton or Sweeting, I guess. No, that team that Kubiak took over, that was a good team, but you had to be really creative on offense because Manning's arm was shot by that point. You know, Seattle is in comfortably right now. It's not even close. It's not even close. They are in comfortably. 3rd and 13, draw play. That's about the kind of day it's been. Nothing doing. Parcells was pretty good. Parcells was pretty good as the Cowboys coach. I think they're just going to punt this one away and wave the white flag. 4th and 12. It's a 3-possession game, but this one looks over. They are punting. They are waving the white flag. No, because Gruden still had to do stuff. Switzer literally took over a team that had won back-to-back Super Bowls. He had to do nothing. When it's fielded at the 12, I don't even know why you try running this back. I would just fair catch and get out of there. There's a flag on the play. Will DiNucci even come in for this? I'm not sure if DiNucci will come in for this. So now the question is, who's your MVP? Because it really, you can't give it to McCarron because they didn't make the playoffs. It comes down to DiNucci versus Tamu. DiNucci made way too many mistakes, but at his peak, I mean, he's phenomenal. Tamu very consistent all year round. Les Steckel, worst head coach in NFL history. He's up there. I'd say Urban Meyer is also up there. I'm very biased. I would have to go Urban because of everything he did. But Steckel, you could easily say top 5 worst. Yeah, it's not complex math at this point. At this point, I mean, I've had it on the screen the entire time. At this point, it's not complex math. Seattle is making the playoffs. They are in easily. Look, Joe Judge was terrible, don't get me wrong. He was one Eagles tank job away from making the playoffs, though. Hanley's up there. Hanley's up there with one of the worst. Yeah, Burt Bell is one of the worst. Gus Bradley's one of the worst. Hugh Jackson. I mean, when you go 1-31 over a stretch, I think you gotta be in the running. Worst head coach in Browns history? I can't not go Hugh. I can't not go Hugh Jackson. Who else are you going to pick? Petrino's up there with one of the worst, yeah. The way he left, too. Amgas has to be in the running for the worst. Yeah, Jetston. The Jetston. Although, to be fair, they did have a run in his first season where they looked kind of good. And they made the playoffs one year with the Dolphins, so he can't be the worst ever. Head coach Pettibon. Yeah, Pettibon. He was 1 year, one and done, 3-13 and done. He was terrible. Great assistant coach, and then just terrible afterwards. Yeah, Freddie Kitchens was bad, but I can't knock out Hugh Jackson at one. We're just talking stints in our whole careers. Ditka in New Orleans, yeah. Ditka's up there. But the Saints have so many bad coaches. J.D. Roberts, John North. I mean, they had so many bad ones. Hank Stram was also garbage with the Saints. He was terrible in New Orleans. 5:20 left. Will DiNucci go out there? Kodai with the Jets, not with the Eagles. At least he made the playoffs. Rod Rust, that's a good choice. That 90 Pats team, that's up there. Lou Holtz, awful. Yeah, probably the worst in Jets history. David Coley, he was bad. I don't know who was having success with that team, but he was terrible. Wasn't going to be him. But I remember the Cardinals for stints was also really bad. I think Urban Meyer would make the dynasty. I didn't think he'd make a dynasty, but I thought we'd be competent. That would be better. Carlisle, I don't think he makes it. It says he's good head coaches lately, besides Dicka. That's some good ones. Haslett was good. DiNucci is still in there. I'm a bit surprised. And they're throwing! I don't know why. Why leave your quarterback susceptible to taking shots? Incomplete pass as DiNucci goes deep. I honestly don't get this. The game is over. Put the backups in and just ride. I would just put the backups in. I don't know why you're playing DiNucci at this point. And why having him throw? If you're going to put him in, just have him hand the ball off. You're in the playoffs. Marion Campbell, that was the one. Yeah, Marion Campbell was terrible. Great defensive coordinator, terrible head coach. They got so many chances as a head coach, too. It wasn't going to work. DiNucci going to take off himself and run. DiNucci at the 20-yard line goes to bounds with 21. Jim Schwartz. Yeah, Jim Schwartz wasn't the coach at 0-16. He wasn't the coach for 0-16. Schwartz made the playoffs with the Lions. He made them relevant again. Handoff. So Charlie gets the first down. Then some. All three runs that Charlie's had have been very, very good, very, very powerful running. He had a 12, good for a first down. Again, right now, Seattle is in the playoffs. This one is over, folks. 4 minutes left. And Seattle has a ranking of 5. St. Louis has a ranking of 7. That is the tiebreaker. Seattle is in, barring something crazy in these last 3 minutes. The likes of which we have never seen in football history. Handoff once again goes to Charlie. Charlie at the 40. Charlie at the 44-yard line gets the first down. Now, St. Louis is not in the playoff. These announcers... These announcers not do their homework. They're literally... Seattle is in the playoff. Their ranking is 4 for points scored, 1 for points allowed. St. Louis's ranking is 2 for points scored, 5 for points allowed. Now to the playoff picture. Houston, I think the third time's the charm with the way DC's defense has been playing. I think Seattle wins it all. DiNucci, 2nd and 1. Firing deep. He's got his man. Intercepted for the second time today. It is Summers. Jamar Summers on VZ. Makes the pick. 2:31. Yeah, I don't know why they're saying Seattle isn't in yet. Literally, if these results hold, they're in. It's been that way for a while. I guess to officially clinch a spot, but it literally doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. I guess if they score another touchdown, there's no possible way that St. Louis can overtake them in the ranking. But yeah, these announcers, again, I'm not listening to the audio. If that's true, they are, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing if the announcers don't know. It's not like it's their job. It's not like they're getting paid to do it. 1st and 10, McClendon. Feels pressure. Fires, has to deliver it low. Incomplete, off target, intended for Sexton. I guess at 35 they win regardless, but they're in. They do not get the snap off in time. 2 minutes left in the regular season. We went back to the 60s when the NFL didn't have computers and they gave out false information. Even in the 80s they were doing that. The Steelers thought they were in, and the NFL was like, not so fast. The Vikings thought they were out, and the NFL was like, no, you're in. Yeah, Seattle is in. Unless they lose this game somehow, Seattle is in the playoffs. The ranking is 5 for Seattle, 7 for St. Louis, and that is enough. There is no way Seattle is in the playoffs, 2 minutes away from sealing their fate. Seattle is in the playoffs. They are playing DC on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live streaming that game. There's a reason they stopped showing the St. Louis watch party. There's a reason they stopped showing that. St. Louis is not in the playoff. They're out. St. Louis is out. The ranking right now, you see points scored, points allowed, comes down to ranking. Seattle's ranking is 5. St. Louis's ranking is 7. So Seattle has the advantage because the lower the number is better. Seattle's at 243 points scored, which is 4. St. Louis at 249 points scored, which is 2nd. Points allowed, St. Louis is at 202, which is 5th. Seattle's at 171, which is 1. Let's stick to the XFL subreddit. Let's check that. Yeah, people are saying ESPN's dropping the ball so hard with this magic number. I see so many Hawks fans across social media who think the Hawks get on the Dragons under 34. That's not true. I don't think these announcers could be worse. I still wish the Battlehawks made it to the dance. Let's go by a Sea Dragons fan. Let's go playoffs, baby. Yeah, the Seahawks are in. Not the Sea Dragons, I mean. Why did I say Seahawks? Yeah, they're taking time to draw hats on people instead of knowing the playoff scenarios. Real professional, ESPN. Real professional. These announcers have no idea what they're talking about. Real professional. Quality of broadcasting across all sports has gone downhill tremendously, especially on ESPN's side. Just saying, ESPN's got budget cuts coming up. Just saying. So it's a nice throw there to Sexton. Sexton at the 30. He's in a foot race. He's going to win it. Sexton's going to win that foot race. Hang on a second. Leon Lett. Oh, my goodness. Sexton. If that doesn't sum up the season, I don't know what does. Matthew Sexton celebrated too early. They'll review it. They'll review it to see if Sexton got in. That's why you don't stretch the ball out before. Oh my goodness. Did Sexton get in the end zone? He did not. He did not. He did not get in the end zone. Matthew Sexton showboated way too early. And Michael Wright forces a fumble out of the end zone. It's a touchback. Oh, they mark it in the XFL. They mark it at the spot. I've never seen it before. They mark it at the spot where the fumble was lost. So it's not a touchback. They mark it at the spot of the fumble. Oh my goodness, Sexton! What are you doing? That's why you don't celebrate before you get in the end zone. Then again, this is the same team that showboated with a pose after a pick when they were down 28-3. Oh my goodness. Leon Lett flashbacks all over again. Flashbacks of Broncos-Ravens 2013 opening week. Oh my goodness. It's still Vegas ball because of the touchback rule. Oh, if that play doesn't sum up their season, I don't know what does. That's going to be on not top 10. That'll be on the highlight reel. Oh my goodness. What should have been an 85-yard touchdown, what should have been the longest touchdown from scrimmage of the season, instead turns into disaster. An absolute disaster of a play. We truly have seen it all. This is the XFL. There's a stoppage on the field. They're trying to get everything sorted out. You let it up by 35. Vegas did it showboating down by 25. It's funny with Vegas. McLennan's 6 for 21 with 201 yards. This is the strangest stat line I've seen. 6 passes completed for 201 yards. They're averaging about 35 yards per completion. All right, handoff, touchdown. It is Shy McKenzie. Let's see what they do here on the conversion attempt. Seattle still leads in points allowed. They're still leading in points allowed. They're at 177. And no matter what happens on the conversion, they'll still be fine there. Again, if there is a tie in the ranking, remember that. If there is a tie in the ranking, then Seattle owns the tiebreaker because of point differential, which by default would be better than St. Louis because they enter this game tied up. Yeah, that was a dumb decision. Extra point from the 5-yard line. You blame Dino Prouse for holding back the left. Going for 2. McClendon scrambling. This is to make it a 2-possession game. Fires end zone. Incomplete. Sexton, the intended target. Coverage on the play by Chris Jones. Low throw. And we'll see if they wave the white flag, if they kick off, or will they try the onside kick. We'll see. And even with one more touchdown allowed, it'd still be fine because the ranking would be tied at 7. At this point, the only way that Seattle cannot get in, if they win this game, the only way they can't get in is if they allow 17 more points in the next minute 33. Well, Tariq Cohen play for another game. I think he might be done. He might be done. The only way Seattle can miss at this point is if they allow 17 points. 17 more points, I should say. And I think Vegas might just wave the white flag. Since it is a 3-possession game, and this is just emblematic of their entire season. But McKenzie gets one for the root at least. So Seattle, as things stand, barring a complete collapse, are in the playoffs, and they are kicking off. So they will be waving the white flag. Vegas won't use any of their timeouts probably. So unless a turnover happens here, it's over. It is over at this point. Minute 33 left, 93 seconds left. It is a formality. It seems like kickoff fielded. Again, I'm not even sure why you're fielding. I just go down. I wouldn't even take any chances. Flag on the play. It's going to be holding, I think, on the Sea Dragons to move back 10 yards. Seattle can kneel if they want. I mean, Vegas is not going to call timeouts. It'd be stupid to call timeout because you're down by 3 possessions. You wave the white flag anyways. By kicking off there instead of... wave the white flag by kicking off. instead of going for a 4th and 15. So the St. Louis Battlehawks will be 7-3 and miss the playoffs. Ben DiNucci in, probably just going to run this clock out. So it's Houston-Arlington on Saturday night. I don't like the fumble touchback rule. I think it should be what it is in the NFL. You need some rules to benefit the defense. I hate that Vegas got rewarded for Sexton's stupidity. First attempt of 17. Going to hand it off. Lindsey. 2 hands on the ball. Down at the 21-yard line. You have 4 on the play. Seattle will go to 7-3. Vegas not calling timeout. They're just letting this run. They're going to end their season on this. DiNucci, I think he comes back to Seattle. Everyone keeps their rights. You keep your right forever. So there's no switching of teams in the XFL. You keep your rights forever unless you get traded. If they go to the NFL, you still own their rights. 2nd and 6. 50 seconds left. 2 more plays left in this ballgame. Hand off to Lindsey. He's got a hold. 25-30. Down at the 32-yard line. And that's all she wrote, folks. The Seattle Sea Dragons, from 0-2, go 7-1 over their last 8. They stunned the football world after that start. And the Seattle Sea Dragons will be taking the 2nd spot in the North Division for the playoff. You can't play in the XFL and the USFL unless you get cut by the XFL. But you can play in the NFL. There's nothing stopping you from playing in the NFL. One final handoff to Lindsey. The 40. Lindsey down to the 42. And that is it. The Seattle Sea Dragons are going to the playoffs. The Seattle Sea Dragons, led by Ben DiNucci, who threw 3 touchdown passes in the 3rd quarter, are going to the postseason. They knock out St. Louis, and they are in DC Seattle on Sunday. The Seattle Sea Dragons, 7-3, they get in. Yeah, the announcers finally got it right, yeah. After getting roasted, yeah. I can't believe we took this up. I had it from the start. I literally had it from the start. How am I, from my couch, doing more research than the broadcasters who were getting paid to do this? So DC Seattle at Audi Field, Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Again, and we'll be streaming that game whenever I get back from the airport. Whenever I get back. So hopefully we are streaming on time, but in all likelihood, probably the middle of the 1st quarter, end of the or start of the 2nd quarter. We'll see that. Does Steph Curry become the next Chris Webber? He did. Almost. A heartbreaking end for St. Louis. But Vegas is out. Obviously, at 2-8. A terrible season for them. Seattle is in. They're playing DC. Houston, Arlington on Saturday for a shot at the championship on May 13th down in San Antonio at the Alamodome. Do a hockey stream now. Can't really do that. I got to work on some videos and some stuff for that. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Crazy, crazy stream. Crazy, crazy week in the XFL. Again, I'll see you guys on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll live stream the XFL North Championship. And we will live stream the XFL Championship on May 13th as well. So just keep that in mind. Enjoy the NFL draft, everyone. I'm flying to KC. Flying to KC for the draft. That's where I'm flying to. So I'm flying back from KC to Phoenix. So I'll be in Kansas City from Wednesday to Saturday. If you guys see me for whatever reason, you're going to be at the draft, you see me, feel free to say hi and stop by and have a chat. If you guys are going to be at the draft and you see me, by all means. But thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, this is Jared Green signing off. I'll see you guys next week for the XFL.